Face front, true believers. This is Modular Media's No Prize podcast. I am your host, Chris A. Boingo Rider Gaston, and with me, as always, in the bullpen,
representing the people who keep hearing the phrase Moon Knight in the tone of the Cool Cat theme song from the hit movie Cool Cat Saves the Kids. The Vacuuminator is here.
That is an oddly specific thing to say. Fact.
It's just an insane earworm that's been with me all day, and I don't know why.
Also, so hello, Buster.
Moon Knight. Moon Knight. It sounds like that.
Alright, fine, whatever, bud. You do you. If it makes you happy, chase your joy.
Modular Media's Mickey Mouse podcast would be very different.
Oh boy! Oh boy! Hot dog!
Though I suppose it kind of is, considering we're planning on covering the Star Wars Disney Plus shows as well going forward. Oh God, we're just slaves to the mouse now.
Hey, we did Peacemaker.
Yes, and we're totally gonna do Penguin too.
We'll watch the first episode and talk about it. And if we want to talk more, we'll do that. Honestly, I thought he's not the bad part of the movie, but the Penguin was probably the weakest area of the movie, just because it was, oh, you're just Penguin. Okay, you're nothing. There's no new cool twist to it. It's just, oh, you're just the Penguin.
Mm-hmm. Well, there is a bit of a twist in that he's someone's underling this time around, but still.
Yeah, but I mean, he's the Penguin.
And I mean, like, look at all that makeup on Colin Firth. Isn't that impressive? Farrell. There's too many British people with Colin names.
I don't think he's British. I think he's Irish.
There's too many European people with Colin as a name.
No, in fact, I think he also played, Bullseye.
Yeah, he's Bullseye in that Daredevil movie that I refuse to watch.
Director cut's not as bad. Theatrical cut, don't watch.
People tell me that. I still refuse to watch it.
Oh, no, it's not great. But in the same way, like, the director's cut of Ghost Rider is fun. It's the same vibe. It's not great, but it's fun.
Sure.
But we have a lot of shit to deal with this week. A lot of things.
It's a hell of a week, boys and girls.
Oh boy, hell of a week. Hell of a week, and Doctor Strange ain't even out.
Yeah. Next week is Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange. We'll talk about it. We
got shit to say about that later, but first we need to deal with the heaviest part of this week.
Not our logo. This is just here for the consistency. Neil Adams, the legend, the icon, the man himself, has passed away at the age of 80 after living a long, illustrious career. After leaving a long, illustrious career in comic books, this man single-handedly defines DC Comics for me in a lot of ways.
Same here. Like, I think a lot of people, if you think back to like classic pre-90s DC aesthetic, it's not the golden age 40s and 30s type stuff you really think of.
The house style they had up until like the 60s.
It's like the 70s and early 80s that Neil, Norm Brayfogle, and like one or two other people really defined.
And I say if you're talking like late 80s, then we also have to bring in John Byrne, who defined Superman of that era, and a bunch of others. Like, Marvel artists tend to get really bombastic fans because they were allowed to experiment a lot more. And DC artists tend to work within the house style and really excel at nailing a consistent, perfect detail.
Yeah, and like to add to that pantheon we're kind of talking about of like the 70s, 80s kind of classic guys, I'd say he's up there as well with like George Perez.
Oh no, him and George Perez like define DC's look for me.
Yeah. Like,
the only other person I'd say could be a definitive visual element of DC Comics is maybe Jim Lee today.
Yeah, but Lee kind of doesn't really get an impact on DC until the 2000s.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if we look at the entirety of the history of the aesthetics of DC, it's those three names. Those guys who define the evergreen look of DC Comics, Jim Lee defining the current look.
Yeah, so much so to the point where, like, if you've had any kind of just general DC merchandise with artwork of a character on it in the last, like, 20, 30 years, odds are it was repurposed Neil Adams artwork. I mean, I can even attest to that because this actually leads nicely into, I do have a Neil Adams story. I did get to meet the guy once.
That's nice.
It was the first year here. I wasn't really, like, prepared for it or anything. I was just going to the local Comic-Con because I think I found out about it a few days before. And it was, like, the first year I lived up here. So I was like, I'll just go walk around, maybe buy a couple things, see what's going on. And he was there, and I was like, shit, I don't have anything I could get him to sign, even though I've got a couple things he worked on. That really sucks. Maybe maybe he'll come back next year, and he's got a huge line, and I don't want to waste his time. I'll just keep walking. And then I was there the whole rest of the day, and by the end of the day, the line had gotten considerably shorter. Like, I want to say it was like 20, 25 people at a time at the beginning of the day, and the day it was like 4 or 5 people at a time. So I was like, I've got nothing better to do, and I've got a little spare cash. Let me just walk up. And I did that, and I got up there, and he was at his sketch pad, and I was just like, hi, Mr. Adams. I know you probably hear this a lot. I don't really have anything for you to sign, but I just wanted you to know GLGA is one of my favorite comics of all time. I've read that for years, and I really love it. Wish I could have had the presence of mind to bring it and get it signed, but I just wanted to come up and shake your hand. So here's $5 for your time. And I, like, handed him a 5 as if I was going to shake his hand. And he looked up and he was like, well, that shirt you're wearing is my artwork, so I could just sign that if you give me another $5. So I was like, okay, because I was wearing this Justice League shirt that was a repurposed cover he did. He signed that, and we took a picture. I've been trying to find that picture all weekend, and I just can't find it anywhere. But we did that, and then I went home the next day and stupidly washed the shirt, and the signature was no longer on there. But I kept that shirt around for like another year and a half before it started getting holes in it. So that's my Neil Adams story. He was super nice. He obviously, like, you could have the cynical thought and be like, oh, he was trying to get another $5 out of you, but he was nice enough to be like, here's stuff and I can send you home with.
It sounds more like it sounds more like a old man being cute and clever kind of story.
Yeah, that's the way I choose to take it anyway. But no, I'm really glad I have that memory. The guy's an absolute legend. There's just such an impact he has. Like, I'll be honest and say, like, I saw the news at work, and I had to go to my janitor's closet and actually sit down and cry for a few minutes because my Twitter timeline was just absolutely flooded with testimonials from creators working in the industry today and who were contemporaries of his talking about how much him and his work meant to them.
Because he was a major editor for Batman for years, wasn't he?
Yeah. Bill Sienkiewicz basically said that Neil was his father in art. And lots of people sharing around some of their favorite stuff he'd worked on. Obviously, the iconic first cover of Green Lantern, Green Arrow, a couple different Batmans he did. One thing I really dug was Gail Simone shared some covers for new editions of Tarzan he had done, which I'd never seen before, but looked almost exactly like classic Conan artwork.
Yeah, like, looking at what I'm imagining is some of his art in the background of this, I see, what is it, Vampirella?
Yeah, that's a Vampirella back there. Oh man, one thing that I thought was really cool was I saw some people sharing around sketches he had done for him, like people who are new to the industry in the last few years, sharing sketches they had gotten from him at cons. And one of them was Tom King. He has a Wonder Woman sketch he got from Neil that's currently hanging above his daughter's bed. And that was just like, oh man, this guy,
Yeah.
he reached out. He was everywhere. Like, you want to be sad he's gone, but at the same time, he had such an incredibly successful and proliferous career that it's like, who can imagine a much better life to have lived? And that's without even going into the fact that, like, for the longest time, he was one of the only people really fighting hard for creators' rights in comics.
Yeah. It's much in the same way of like Stan Lee. They are men who have lived their life, put their mark on the industry. They have said their piece. They've made their work, and are respected and understood for it. They aren't being cut short. This is the period at the end of their sentence.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Here's hoping he rests easy.
Yeah. But we should briefly talk about one of the most important works he worked on, Green Arrow, Green Lantern.
Yeah, which I actually have my copy of right here. I was fingering back through it yesterday. This is actually a copy that I believe this was printed in like 2011, 2012, but I used to check this out for years and years from the library before that. And I just happened to only buy my own copy around then. But I've read through this one a number of times as well. And like this is one of the first things that gets me into DC Comics. Like I liked the cartoons for the longest time. I was a huge fan of the Timverse growing up. But it wasn't really until I saw this at my library that I decided to give comics in general a shot. And it was all because I love Green Arrow and Justice League Unlimited. Like, he's one of my favorite parts of that show. So I went to read this, and it's like, you can see how this Green Arrow informs that one, but this is a very different character, because this is screaming Antifa Ollie is what this version of Green Arrow is.
Oh, yeah, no. This Green Arrow is the one who would willing to kick a person's ass.
Yeah.
But also incredibly flawed, because we got to talk about the story, the second half of the 1-2 punch that fucking decimated the Comics Code Authority.
Yeah, there's like 3 issues you really need to read out of all of this. The rest of it is fluff. There's the first issue, which is because this isn't just a book that started. This happened because Green Lantern was failing and they needed to try and save it somehow. So they gave it to O'Neill and Adams and just said, do whatever you want, because either it's going to die or it's going to do really well. So the first issue is Green Lantern, Green Arrow, number 76. And that issue is called No Evil Shall Escape My Sight. And it's basically just 22 pages of Ollie going, how are you full of shit? The Guardians are full of shit. This whole thing is full of shit. We need to go on a road trip and find the real America.
A cab.
Yeah.
Basically pointing out that, hey, yo, Hal, you're being a cop. Cops are bastards.
Mm-hmm. And then I can't remember if it's during the road trip or it's after that, but there's the issue that introduces the first appearance of John Stewart Green Lantern is in here somewhere. I forget what issue it is exactly. I'm like flipping through trying to find it. But then after they get back from the road trip, the first thing that happens is, I can find that issue. So there is a goddamn glossary at the front, and I wasn't looking at that.
You silly, silly man.
It is Green Lantern, Green Arrow, number 85, Snowbirds Don't Fly. AKA, Ollie's a shitty dad.
Yep. And as I described it, the second punch that destroyed the comics, that basically wrecked the Comics Code Authority for years and just made it kind of nearly pointless. Mm-hmm. Because the first punch, it would be the Spider-Man issue where Harry was on pills.
Yeah.
It was that and then this that kind of basically made all the comic creators go like, oh, it's just bullshit. We can just do whatever we want. Cool.
Yeah. And like, even if you don't know what we're talking about, you haven't read these issues, you've seen that cover. You have seen the famous cover of them coming back from the road trip and Speedy's using heroin and Ollie goes, "My ward is a chunky." Like that's one of those iconic covers that's just burned into any documentary or anything from the mainstream that talks about comics is gonna bring that up.
Yeah. And I will say this, because again, I'm a Marvel guy, so I think of comics through the Marvel lens of what Marvel was doing more often than not.
Mm-hmm.
The Pill issue of Spider-Man, the cover's bullshit. It's garbage. It's not great. So yeah, go with the Green Arrow, Green Lantern one, because it's a great, brilliant, beautiful cover.
I think Comic Pop even talked about that in their recent episode on Green Lantern, Green Arrow.
Yeah.
But no, this trade, like, this is a trade that DC has just had in print in perpetuity, I think, since the concept of trade paperbacks came about. So, like, if you don't have a copy of it or if you've never read it yourself, you really owe it to yourself, because it is seminal stuff, and a lot of what we talked about so far has been Denny O'Neil contributions. But I will say, because, like, I fingered through this yesterday, as I said, Adams's art is, like, at its best in these issues. It's not the most dynamic stuff in the world, and certainly the pacing of the panels and whatnot feels a bit off compared to modern stuff, but it just looks like what you picture when you picture classic DC. And one of the things I really picked up on this fingering through was I really like the way he draws Hal and later John flying, because it doesn't look like traditional just up and away superhero flying. It almost looks like they're swooshing through a pool. Like the air that they're embodying has sort of that current effect on their bodies, like it would if they were just kind of like how you push off from the side of a pool.
Yeah. But yeah, no, like, this is just one of those quintessential, like, this defines DC Comics of what they wanted, what, like, when DC's on their game, this is what they kind of try and aim for.
Yeah.
But
let's talk about fucking Moon Knight.
Fucking Moon Knight. Boy, this episode of Moon Knight came at a very weird time for a comics legend to die, because this episode of Moon Knight is all about death.
And it ain't fucking around.
Oh no. So essentially, the brief recap of the episode. Mark and Steven are screaming their head off at the hippo lady. The hippo lady goes like, whoa, guys, calm down. You're dead. This is the afterlife. We just got to deal with some stuff. We gotta measure your heart, see if you're worthy of the paradise.
And in that scene, I will say, my one criticism of the episode, I do not buy Tawet when she says that it's the first time she's ever seen the afterlife envisioned as a psych ward. That has to have at least happened a half dozen times by now.
Here's the thing. No one's gone to that afterlife in years. It's probably since before the invention of the psych ward.
Oh, okay. I didn't think about it that way.
Yeah. Because remember, this episode gave us the confirmation that there are multiple afterlives due to the unsteamed, untapped unconscious of people. And my brain immediately went like, yo, unconscious? Sleepwalker? Sleepwalker?
Whereas my brain went, oh yay! They're just rolling with it like a comic book thing should do. Because one of my favorite things about DC forever and always has just been that, like, yeah, every pantheon of gods exists, and they regularly argue with each other about who created the universe.
See, every pantheon of God exists in Marvel. It's just no one's sure if they're actually gods or aliens who think they're gods.
Mm-hmm. And it seemed like for the longest time that's what they were rolling with the Norse gods, of like, oh, they're aliens, they're out there in the universe, they've got a more advanced tech, that's what their magic is. And it seems like now that we've gotten past like the first high point of the MCU, Kevin Feige's a little more comfortable just going like, nah, there's magic and gods and stupid bullshit. They'll
Oh
buy
yeah,
it.
yeah. No, they can understand. They can understand the rules. We explain everything, and if we put enough flash and good acting in it, they'll buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but basically, Toilet says, "Yo, Steven, Mark, y'all have to go through traumatic memories, confront them, and realize yourself, and then we can move on to the next step. Or not, you'll just go to sand hell."
Before we get into the memories and stuff, how did you feel about Tawet as a character and as an animated being in this episode?
They did a really good, like, you can tell it's CCG. It's they don't.
Mhm.
It's not perfect. It's not perfect, but it's not imperfect. You know, it's on the other side
Uh-huh.
of the uncanny valley.
Yeah, it looks like a real hippo person. Like
Yeah.
I love that just occasionally you'll just see her ears twitch.
Oh, it's great. There's a lot of little elements that are just great with. Like when she was like clearing her throat, she did like a hippo noise.
Hmm.
It's good. It's solid.
And I spent the whole episode thinking her voice actress was Queen Eclipso from Star versus the Forces of Evil. And then I went to look her up. This is the first big project she's ever been in. This is a completely different lady.
Yeah, but she did great. It's an amazing performance. Also, we got a little intercut of the scene that we got to talk about real quick. Interspersed between a lot of this, we get back to the therapist, Andrew Harrow as a therapist, talking to the body
Hmm.
and thinking he's talking to Mark. And then Mark starts talking in a voice that doesn't sound like Mark or Steven. In a very gruff, northern, like Chicago, New
Is
York.
that okay? You're throwing me here. Is that when he was like, "Hey, my mom's alive. Don't you tell me she's dead"?
No, it was like this is a nice place. You must make a lot of money doing this kind of
Oh,
stuff.
oh, when he tries to kill him. Okay,
Yeah. Because it's that kind of like Mark doesn't sound like that, but
okay. I thought
Jake.
that was just Mark getting hysterical and trying to escape.
No, but there's also the other element. Look at his nose. He has a boxer's bandage on his nose because that's often.
Yeah,
And Jake's the rough and tumble guy. Jake's the guy who's willing to stab a man.
man. I realized halfway through this episode, we're not actually gonna see Jake and find out that he's Jake until like the end of the show. Like I
Oh,
bet you the final battle is gonna do a big thing that's gonna make Mark and Steven go away, and fucking Layla will be like, Mark, Steven, are you okay? And he'll be like, my fucking name is Jake. Cut the credits.
oh, that's gonna be that would piss a lot of people off.
Yeah.
Also, I'm pretty sure the next episode's gonna be really long, so who knows?
I think it's 54 minutes I saw somewhere.
The longest of the episodes, though.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, that's the prevailing theory that was Jake Lockley. I kind
Okay.
of buy it because the voice was distinct enough that I go like, yeah, that doesn't sound like Mark being hysterical. It sounds distinctly like he was putting on an accent.
Yeah, I could see that. And I just hadn't seen any of that discussion anywhere, so I hadn't picked up on it.
Yeah. But we then go through the memories of Mark Spector, and they changed things from the comics. It's not exactly the comic book origin.
I,
Uh,
I would imagine his mom's not as much of a grade A cunt in the comics. Because,
no.
yeah, I'm going to use that word. She's a cunt.
Basically, it's revealed that that Mark Spector, through the irresponsibility of his parents and and like a very big smattering of bad luck, accidentally got his brother killed,
Mhm.
which results in his mother breaking down and becoming an abusive asshole.
Yeah, blaming him for his brother's death.
Uh, so much so that that she starts beating Mark, and
Yeah.
that is the cause of Mark's DID. That
Yeah.
he would switch out with another with an alter in order to not have to deal with it, which it lines up with contemporary understandings of the condition.
Yeah, and it makes a lot of stuff make sense. Having Steven be his happy place. Like, Steven isn't a great guy. He's not got a great life, but he's got a normal, pretty easy to get through life, as we saw in the first episode. And also, like, it perfectly explains the British accent not being the best in the world, because I never thought it was shitty, but I've seen people everywhere going like, "Oh, this is a terrible accent." I can't believe
put upon. That's
fire
the point.
fire whoever gave Oscar Isaac that dialogue coach. No. It's that bad because he learned it from a shitty, schlocky action movie when he was a kid.
Yeah,
That's brilliant.
Yeah, no, it's great. Like, it's purposefully wonky in certain places, but I do agree with some of the fan theories that Steven wasn't the one getting beat. Neither was Mark. That was Jake.
That could be a thing as well.
Jake, because here's the thing. Mark went into Steven, and then Steven looked catatonic when the mom walked into the room, as if Steven wasn't even there.
And I gotta tell you, man, the whole episode, I felt bad for Steven, but I felt just as bad for his dad, because, like, man, like, you get where the guy's coming from, but you just want him to do anything the whole episode.
Mm-hmm. But this is extremely different from the comics. In the comics, what caused the trauma that Mark has went through to cause DID was running into a Nazi who had disguised himself as a rabbi in their synagogue, who was using that position to kill people.
Neat.
Yeah, to an extent, I understand why they changed it, but there's also, like, I've seen some Jewish people going like, yeah, but, like, it removes an aspect of religious trauma from him, and I'm like, sure.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think his dad is a rabbi in this?
He might be. I don't know.
Because, like, they're very obviously Jewish. They don't hide away from the Jewishness at all in this episode. They say Shiva at one point. Oscar Isaac is wearing a yarmulke.
Yeah, but yeah. And for people who do not know, Shiva is a week-long period of mourning in Jewish culture.
Yeah. It's essentially an extended wait for
family members.
What culture does wake even come from? I forget.
I don't know.
But basically, they don't say he's a rabbi, but they also don't not say he's a rabbi.
Right. There might be even more, and who knows? Remember, there's three main altars in Moon Knight's comic book history. There have been more. So they could...
Also, now that I've had a second to digest it, I actually do kind of like that comic book origin with the Nazis, just because, like, it reminds me of original Kamen Rider a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, Nazis, they're evil. They were only 20 years ago. People are still scared of them. Throw them in there.
No, that was actually a retcon origin way later.
Really?
Yeah, because here's the thing. Back in the 70s and the 80s when Moon Knight first appeared, he wasn't a split identity. He just had 3 secret identities. It wasn't like a full disassociative split until much later when people were like, wait a second, that's an interesting direction we can take the character. And I think it was the 2006 revival.
Oh, yeah.
Where that really kind of cemented, and then it wasn't until, I think, Lemire where he really was like, this is it. This is Moon Knight as we know him now.
Okay.
Because I think that's where that kind of got showcased in the Lemire run. But yeah, no. It's a tragic origin. It is fucked up. And I think it makes sense for the MCU because it's grounded in a, like, believability other than just, like, there's this Nazi and he hid himself as a rabbi for years just to commit serial murders.
And it also, like, finally, I feel, justifies the same as the Netflix show's level rating they gave this show. Because, like, they come really close to showing that shit on screen.
Mm-hmm. But throughout this, we realized that Mark's mother had died 2 months prior to the show starting, and
that's what caused their lives to bleed together.
Because Mark could not handle the variety of cocktail of emotions that results from the person who abused you for years dying. Yay. That person's also your mother and you still love her. Boo. You cannot face your father due to years of trauma. And all of that just spiraling into Steven taking over.
And I forget if it's right before or right after, but it's around that same time that we also like finally connect the dots on how he ended up at that dig site and how he actually became Moon Knight, which is that he was having fugue states, which was him becoming Steven while he was in the military because he joined he joined the military to get away from his family, and then he started having fugue states, which got him kicked out. And then a commanding officer who was doing mercenary work offered to bring him on as a partner. And then the thing with Layla's dad happened. His partner betrayed him and left him for dead. And then Khonshu was just like, "Sup, bitch?
Your mind is easily manipulated. Wanna become my dude?"
Mm-hmm.
I know there's a little bit of the Khonshu's an asshole that's been kind of shown throughout the stuff. I really want him to go full fucking asshole.
No, like he's full on like predatory mentor you think is cool at first, but then turns out to be an asshole. Like he's kind of what we've turned Professor X and Zordon into in recent years.
Yeah. Oh, we'll get to Professor X though. But no, this episode then basically Mark and Steven come to an understanding of like Steven going like, "Mark, you went through shit," and I understand like they come to an eye to eye. Everything's not perfect, but they come to an eye to eye. The scales ain't perfect, and they're nearing the end of their journey.
Because they convinced Tawet to try and take them back to the material world at one point. And she's like, "Well, if you can balance your scales, maybe they'll let us through the game."
Yeah, because some souls have been falling into Sandhell because presumably Ammit has woken up and started casting their judgment.
Mm-hmm.
But then the scales aren't balanced, and Toilet goes, "Shit, I like you guys, but I gotta do my job. Sorry, sand zombies."
Yep. And they're all people Mark's killed.
Yep. But they fight valiantly, and Steven falls off the edge of the boat, whispering one last word, calling out for Mark.
And then immediately, upon losing Steven, the scales balance for Mark, and he's taken to the Egyptian afterlife.
The Field of Reeds. And then we end the episode.
Yeah. Like, it's literally just a shot of him looking at the Fields of Reed, and then it's over.
And it's just like, holy shit, alright, fuck, where are we going from here, buds?
I'm willing to bet the first 10 minutes of the next episode is going to be him finding Khonshu there, and them finding a way out together, and somehow saving Steven at the same time. And then we're going to get like a 20 to 30-minute fight sequence with Haro and Ammit, and maybe like 10, 15 minutes of wrap up after that.
Maybe. This is a very dumb theory. Do not say this I am right, but this is a very dumb theory. What if Mark's body hasn't been dead? What if Mark and Steven died, and the body is being is being used by Jake? That's why we haven't seen Jake in this reality. We've just seen hints of him because he's off there in the real world fighting.
It's entirely possible. Could be an interesting twist, but I don't know.
I'm not saying it's that thing. I'm just it's more like head candy. Let's see.
Yeah, it's on the same level as my prediction of him being the cliffhanger at the end of the show.
Yeah. I don't think we're not gonna not see Jake somehow. They've laid too many hints.
So that does feel very like pre-Endgame Marvel to have the show end on a title card that says like fucking
Moon Knight will return.
Moon Knight will return as Jake Lockley in The Midnight Suns.
Or here's this: Toilet sitting on the boat, going like, "Oh no, the boys! I feel bad for them." And then Jake just comes in, and goes like, "Where's Mark? Where's Mark? Where's Steven?
He's got like a bat with nails over his shoulder. He's like, "Where's my boys?"
What? I'm the one who takes the punches? You fucking let them do all this shit on their own? I'm the tough one. But Mark killed people. Mark thinks he killed people. And then he just jumps over the boat, grabs Steven.
Yeah.
Jake coming in clutch.
Yeah.
Don't think that's gonna happen. But no, this was a damn good episode of Moon Knight. I know, I'm not saying you're hot and cold, but you've been
lukewarm on this show. I'll admit.
You've been more critical because I'm coming from a point of view of like, oh my god, they're actually making a Moon Knight show. What the fuck?
Yeah, I'm like, Moon Knight's one of your guys. He's one of your guys.
It's one of my like.
So,
I'm just
for me as somebody who like mainly knows Moon Knight through memes and action figures, I'm like, I like it.
You know what I would love? It would be a little bit of a change to Jake Lockley's character if Jake Lockley is me Moon Knight.
We actually get the line random bullshit going this episode.
It's like Jake Lockley comes in and just goes like, random bullshit go. Like he does not care. He would be the person who goes like, Dracula, give me my money, you fucking nerd.
Oh man. I know it's entirely speculation that Moon Knight is going to be in Midnight Suns, but goddamn, I want him in Midnight Suns, and I want him to say that to Dracula.
And you just see a scene right after that with Mark and Steven in the mirror going like, Jake, what the fuck? He doesn't know his money. He doesn't know that. He probably knows that. Well, and then get $100 out of that.
It's like the first scene of the movie, and Blade's already there fighting him.
And then Blade just looks at us and goes like, "Some motherfuckers always trying to ice skate up hills."
Yeah, the trifecta. And Black Knight's just standing in the background awkwardly the whole time. He's like,
"I miss my girlfriend.
My grandpa just gave me a sword. I don't know what I'm doing."
Oh god. And then Keanu Reeves just goes like, "What's up? Who are you?" "Oh, my name's Johnny." Johnny who? Dude. Oh, you haven't? I guess you don't watch a bunch American Sun shows. Johnny Blaze, hi. Just total casual Keanu.
Who's the one that comes after Johnny?
Danny Ketch.
Yeah. Don't have, like, maybe for one movie have Keanu have Ghost Rider powers, but I would like a movie where it's Keanu as Johnny Blaze and then somebody else as Danny Ketch as Ghost Rider.
Okay, do you know who should be Danny Ketch?
Who?
He was in, he's the dude in Death Stranding, he was in Walking Dead, Boondock Saints. Actor, what's his name?
Norman Reedus?
Yeah!
Okay.
Norman Reedus.
Yeah, that could work. I was thinking really young. Like, for some reason, my mind went to, I forget his...
Well, they're brothers.
Decker something. The guy who played Jason in Power Rangers 2017.
Yeah. No, they're Johnny and Danny are brothers, like, separated at a really young age, so like they need to be similar in age, but not exactly the same age. So like Norman Reedus be a younger brother, I think it could work.
Could work. And then who would you have as Car Ghost Rider besides the guy that played him in the show?
I'd get a complete unknown.
Okay.
And piss off all of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans who still think it's canon.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans, man, those are the people who belong in the asylum, honestly.
It's just hard to tell them, like, yo, they took too many toys out of the toy box.
Mm-hmm. They're in the same class as the people who thought Legends of Tomorrow getting canceled this week was a bad thing.
Oh, you're fucking going there, eh?
Go where? I can go anywhere. I'm right here.
All right. Well, speaking of that and other news, I think we need to start tackling the giant list of news we have.
It's been a week.
So Sony gonna Sony. Bad Bunny's gonna be in a Spider-Man spinoff.
Show of hands, who's heard of this character that he's playing?
I haven't even heard of this man.
Yeah. He was in 2 issues. Ever.
This is getting sad. This is getting real sad.
Now, we've said the things everybody else has said. We just did that.
Mm-hmm.
Let me play devil's advocate here for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Because as, like, putting on my big fancy I'm a film executive suit for a second, I think this is actually a smart idea because there's so little source material. You can get as loosey-goosey with the movie as you want, as long as it vaguely looks like as long as he's wearing a costume that kind of looks like the character, you can kind of do whatever you want, and you're not going to have a bunch of people jumping down your throat going like, oh, why doesn't Venom have a big spider on his chest? I think that's the motivation here.
Yeah. There's other characters you could have done, though.
Mm-hmm. I'm still not entirely opposed to a Silver Sable movie. I'd rather it be an MCU thing, but I'm not entirely opposed to it.
Black Cat. A heist movie starring Black Cat.
Mm-hmm. So there's been rumors since No Way Home came out that they're planning to do Black Cat in the next MCU Spider-Man.
Either way, Bad Bunny's not a bad dude. Don't think he's a bad guy.
He's a surprisingly good wrestler.
Yeah, I don't think he's a bad dude. I think he'll be fine. Whatever they do, whatever. It's just like it's just baffling.
It's a weird choice.
It is a weird choice. But speaking of not a weird choice, we do have a name for the third Spider-Verse movie. It's going to be coming up after the second one.
Yeah, because originally they were going to call the next 2 movies Across the Spider-Verse Parts 1 and 2. No, now it's they're pulling Endgame where they're changing it, and it is now Beyond the Spider-Verse for the final movie, which I believe is planned to come out in 2025.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Across the Spider-Verse is
delayed.
Oh yeah, it just got delayed to next year because it was going to be Christmas time.
Yep.
But it's next summer now.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's good. Like, we don't know much more. It's Beyond the Spider-Verse, so it's probably just gonna have a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I would love it if they get like really crazy and start to make up like some of their own really weird Spider-Men for that movie, because we know we're getting Miguel and we're getting Takuya in Across the Spider-Verse. So.
And there's also heavy rumors that we're getting the Leopardon in Toei Spider-Man.
Takuya is Toei Spider-Man's real name.
Okay, I didn't know that. What other Spider-Men are there that are like good and interesting? We could always see Captain Spider from the Britain Corps.
We could see Spider-Punk.
Yeah, he's been blowing up.
Mm-hmm.
The Indian Spider-Man.
Yeah. Surprised we haven't heard anything about Madam Web being in one of these movies.
Yeah. I'm okay if we never see traditional Madam Web ever again because her connection with Stan Lee's wife.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, they should have a scene with Renew Your Vows, the
Oh,
Renew Your Vows trio.
oh yeah, that'd be fun. You know who needs to be in here? Spider Ben. The old
Yeah.
Ben Parker with the leather jacket. Just like spider powers, just want to fight for his fucking sons. Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
shit.
But next up, we do have some MCU news, not just Sony news. Kevin Feige and the heads of Marvel Creative went into an excursion to plan out the next 10 years of the MCU.
Yeah, I believe this is actually going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually skipping Doctor Strange premiere week to do this. A lot of people chose to meme on this, clown on them, going like, "Oh God, I like the same joke that's been going on since Avengers 2012 of, oh God, they expect me to just go to all these movies over and over again. Now watch me do that because I'm a YouTube reviewer."
Dear,
Which, get over it,
the,
people.
the sooner
Let's
people
have.
realize that's not how you're supposed to watch these movies, the better.
Mhm.
And the sooner people just go like, "Oh, if you want to see the movie, go see it," and stop having to justify it. Of like, I said I wasn't gonna watch any more Marvel movies, but the trailer looks. Stop giving yourself excuses. It's just
Yeah.
a movie, just one of many. See it if you want. I'm seeing all this stuff because I like Marvel.
And I'm seeing all of it because I'm on a Marvel podcast now.
This has turned into a general comic books podcast. We can be honest.
Yeah, and I like this stuff for the most part. I've yet to see an MCU project that's pissed me off. I'll put it that way.
Probably the closest would
Um,
be Dark World, but that's just more
mhm.
because it's like, eh.
Well, the first two four movies I was just generally bored during. Like, I don't. There's moments in the first two four movies are like the cinematic equivalent of Agents of Shield, where like there's a good moment every like a few minutes, but it's overall just kind of a miasma of what am I doing with my time.
Now I'm just sitting here going like, what are?
What
Oh
are you
dear,
planning, Kevin Feige?
what C and D list characters are you planning to bring to the forefront? Because you gotta do it. Also, X-Men, you gotta do the X-Men.
X-Men and FF are the next two big things,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like we're getting FF before we get X-Men. Um, I think that's going to be a big thing. I also just generally there's been a lot more behind the scenes content on a lot of the like pre-Infinity War stuff and even Infinity War itself recently coming out through YouTube that I've been checking out, and I've really kind of come to appreciate the way the MCU is generally structured creatively because it's a lot of like how I think wrestling should be done of like you have your long-term plan, but there's a bunch of other little side plans that you can pivot into if something goes wrong or you need to change something for whatever reason.
Oh yeah, you mean how they are setting up simultaneously the Young Avengers, the Midnight Suns, and King the Conqueror all at the same time?
And the Dark Avengers and the Thunderbolts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Also, just
Like
the
there's
fact,
going to be like 4 or 5 teams running around this universe in a few years.
yeah. I don't know. I'm excited, but also not like it's no information. It's just like, oh, they're planning things. Cool.
Mhm. They're being responsible adults who do their jobs.
Yeah. Speaking of responsible adults doing their jobs, Batman 2 is happening. Pattinson's going to return. Like it being one of the biggest movies of the year so far, I hadn't guaranteed that.
Yeah, it's weird that this needed to be confirmed, but when this news came out, my entire timeline was like, "Oh, thank God! I was worried it was going to be a one-off." And I was like, "No, no, it's pretty obviously we were getting a sequel to this." Like Batman movies are generally treated by Warner Brothers of if this does good, we take this attitude towards DC in general. So far, we're going to try and build a universe off of this, and like we've said in our 2 episodes on the Batman. I don't think that you should build a universe off of this exactly, but off of this attitude towards the character that you're adapting. Yes.
If this is the Iron Man, where it's basically off on its own over there doing its own thing, and then the rest of the universe kind of gets built on the foundation it lays, I wouldn't mind. Mm-hmm. Tell this story in its entirety and then build a DC universe off of it.
All I'm saying is, if you do a Superman movie after this that's in this universe, have it be insanely contrasting. Have it be bright and chipper, and have it be about why Superman represents hope and all that stuff.
Kind of the vibe of like the Shazam movie.
Yeah. But even brighter. Crank up that contrast real hard.
And then have them be best friends. Like, no argument. No, you're a vigilante, and I don't trust you.
I want fucking tag team Ricochet and Aleister Black. That's what I want my Batman and Superman.
Because to me, Robert Pattinson would immediately see Superman and go like, you are doing exactly what I want to do, but you have the ability to do it. I'm going to help you as much as I can. Mm-hmm. Also, do Robin in the sequel.
Yeah, please. Cast an unknown with Romani Descent as Richard Grayson. Do it.
Yes. Like, genuinely. We are now swimming in a bunch of really cool comic characters of Romani Descent that just need good Romani actors playing them. Mm-hmm. That are coming up, or like people really want them, like Dick Grayson, Doctor Doom. Like, come on.
It's insane how thirsty people are for a new live action Dick Grayson when you think like Chris O'Donnell destroyed that forever.
I think he's just been rehabilitated by pop culture since then. You know? Yeah.
He's the Mr. Ass of comics. How can you not love it?
But there's also like Teen Titans did a lot, Young Justice did a lot. Mm-hmm. And for all of its faults, a lot of people do like Titans.
Yeah.
You know,
it's weird. Like, everything I see about Titans makes me go like, that looks terrible. I'm never going to watch that in a million years. And then like everybody I follow who watches it swears it's one of the best DC things happening right now.
So we got to talk about the teaser trailer that happened for the fucking Doctor movie. Doctor Strange Multiverse Madness footage teases some major cameos.
So I'm of two minds about this, because we'll talk about the actual content in a second. On the one hand, I'm excited about this stuff. I want to see more. On the other hand, I'm like, could you not have just left it at that teaser where we heard Patrick Stewart's voice? Do you really need to have TV spots going around where Baron Mordo says the Illuminati will see you now, and we see a big yellow chair and a shield that looks really familiar? Do we really need that? And then today, on top of that, people went to preview screenings and leaked the full list of cameos.
Yeah, no, I am lucky that I don't follow anybody who does stuff like that on Twitter. Because here's the thing, realistically, I need to be on Twitter like 24/7 due to what is functionally my job, which is being an online digital creator. Which kind of stinks, because it's just like, it's real easy to get spoiled on things you actually want to care about. But
have you seen the full list?
No, I have not.
Thank goodness, because I have, and it's pretty much everyone I expected, but I'm pissed off that I know now.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, yes, I will enjoy the movie. I know I'll enjoy it, because these are just incidental things on the side of cool Doctor Strange movie to me. Mm-hmm. But it's also like, would have been way more awesome if I went in just questioning it, even as I was going in, like I did with Andrew and Toby.
Yeah. So my mindset with this is that they are confident enough in the rest of the movie that they can go like, hey, you know those things you're theorizing about? Here's some confirmation. Things are going to get wild. We have more in store.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like, there was a recent interview with Sam Raimi, because people keep forgetting this is like Sam Raimi's first movie in like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, the last one was Drag Me to Hell.
Yeah. So he was asked in an interview recently, so like, why this after having been away from film for so long? And he's like, I just want to show the kids how you make a comic book movie.
Okay. What's up, Aki? We're talking about the new Doctor Strange footage that got released this week.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that it's the fucking yellow chair. It's the yellow chair!
Yeah. Which made me almost actually somebody, because somebody was like, oh my god, he's going to be the Professor X from the animated series. And I'm like, that yellow chair is in the comics too, buddy.
Well, yeah, but the one we know the most is from the animated series. And there was one person who came up with the theory of that it might be the one from the animated series due to the fact that they are doing a revival of it on Disney+.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's just like all different versions of these characters. None of them are the actual MCU version.
yeah.
Like, because they decanonicized Inhumans, you can have that Black Bolt be from that show.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm saying if, because I don't want a yes or no for Boingo's sake. But if there's a Mr. Fantastic in this, they could say like maybe he's the one from World's Greatest Superheroes.
I'd say if they get a Mr. Fantastic, give the guy from the original Fox ones a chance to like do a really cool like little send off of just like those movies weren't great. Here's just a chance to like actually do a really cool Reed thing.
Mm-hmm. Or like even more hilariously, it's the guy who played him in Roger Corman's Fantastic Four.
That'd be fun because everybody has a soft spot for that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Carter, cool, nice to see her around.
I love that Haley Atwell keeps coming back.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm super excited.
I'm very excited. I took the day off work, man. I'm going to be having a me day. I'm getting up. I'm going to get a couple fillings at the dentist. Then I'm going straight to the theater. Then I got to run some errands. And then I'm going to go to my local Second and Charles and browse around for an hour or two.
No, me and Snowcone from Components, if you know that guy, we're going Thursday. We're doing midnight.
Nice.
We're meeting up with an old friend. I haven't seen her in forever. So we're just gonna go hang out, fucking watch some Doc Strange, and just freak the fuck out.
Very, very clean.
The only thing bad about this entire movie, that's not Gargantua, that's Shuma-Gorath. That is Shuma-Gorath. I don't give a fuck what you say it is, MCU. That is Shuma-Gorath. That's not what Gargantua looks like. That's Shuma-Gorath.
Mm-hmm.
I know you can't call him Shuma-Gorath because of copyright reasons, and it's kind of related to the Lovecraft estate. That Shuma-Gorath. That Shuma-Gorath. I'm gonna take you for a ride. Do you understand that last joke, Vac?
Is that a Marvel vs. Capcom thing?
That's the entirety of the character select music from Marvel vs. Capcom 2. It is just that one 5-minute phrase. I'm gonna take you for a ride. Bam, bam, bam. I'm gonna take you for a ride. Over and over again. It is the best fucking theme about this entire movie. It's the entire movie. Aki.
Aki don't.
Aki no.
Get your shit takes. Keep them in Buster's server.
You can have all the shit takes you want in there. We're not calling your take shit. I can understand you not wanting to watch the movie and not vibing with it. It's just more I'm really excited and it's like In some other directorial news revolving around the MCU, John Watts is leaving Fantastic Four amicably. He just wants to take a break from comic book movies, which totally fair, totally understandable.
Yeah. I'm a little upset just because like I was looking forward to his vision of FF just because his vision of Spider-Man has been so good in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm confident in Feige and his array of executives that they'll be able to find somebody just as good, if not better. And I hope Mr. Watts is able to find something creatively fulfilling to do in the future.
Yep. Though this person right below did suggest someone. Get this man a second chance.
Yeah.
Edgar Wright would be interesting for a Fantastic Four. Let's see who else we got. I don't know who that guy is. Oh, Kingsman. Yeah, another Edgar Wright.
Martin Scorsese's Fantastic Four.
No, Honestly, Scorsese doing a Howard the Duck movie, though?
Mm. I've never actually seen Cop Car, Rocky. I need to check that out. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah. Again, I want him to go do all the projects he wants to do. I'm not. There's no like. It's just like, oh, sad you're not doing this. Glad you're taking your own interests at heart, bud.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait to see what else you do. I need to get back on just watching more movies because it's just life.
Yeah, I'm not as much of a film buff as people think I am.
Yeah, no. I can't. I don't have the money or the ability to go see everything everywhere in theaters, so I'm waiting for the day it drops on streaming to go watch it.
Yeah, that does seem really good. And there's been a lot of movies like that.
Same thing with Northman. I want to see that real bad. There's also what was the other thing? Oh, Patrick H. Willems just made a video, and I think he dropped it today, about an Indian epic that has been released this year that he went and saw, that I want to go fucking watch because it just sounds incredibly just like the movie is called RRR. Okay, you want to know why it's called RRR?
Why?
Because the two main leads have an R in their name and the director have an R in their name. It is totally a stunt name. It's just like, hey, these three creative people, you like, Indian audience, they're in this movie. And like the joke is the two actors would never be in the same movie because no studio could pay their salaries. Oh yeah, no, I want to watch RRR. Like, that's the thing. I want to watch more movies. It's just things just kind of like stop me.
Who has time to sit down and watch a movie that's not a part of a franchise they're already invested in anyway?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's easy for me to watch a Marvel movie, but
I like how all the posters for this look like it's a fucking YouTube parody of something.
No, because apparently the way Patrick H. Willems described it, it is a historical fiction based around two people during the 1920s British colonialism of India. And it's two different people who were like doing different things. Apparently in real life, they probably never met. And it's just kind of their friendship story. And like the action looks beautifully choreographed. There's dancing and it looks beautifully choreographed. Like, the best way to describe it is it's what, like, those kind of movies, it seems like it's what if we took Golden Age Hollywood, Gone with the Wind, those kind of movies, and we're just like, all right, let's do them today. A little bit of everything.
Oh, that reminds me. Do you remember Hail Caesar?
No.
That was a movie that came out in like the mid-2010s that I remember people telling me was phenomenal, that I've been meaning to see ever since. Apparently it's like it's a movie that takes place during the Red Scare and has all these like big current Hollywood actors playing classic Hollywood actors.
Ooh.
And it's a movie about why communism is fucking awesome and it's required to be creative.
It's one of the best Yeah, no, I want to see RR. I just need to figure out a way to see it. I know it's probably on streaming and or will be on streaming soon, and I want to see it. I think I want to see the director's other works, the historic epics. Like, it's a 2-part series. Like, it's like, I don't want to say it's like Sand and Sandals, like that kind of, like, if we go like Greek. Yeah, you could probably like Google the fucking names, because like I don't remember them specifically.
Yeah, this movie came out in 2016, and it starred George Clooney, Josh Brolin, Channing Tatum, and Alden Ehrenreich.
I think you're right. I think that is the movie. You're not. Again, my memory's poop. Okay. But thank you, Aki.
Apparently, it's on Netflix right now, so I might actually be able to watch that soon, because I do still have a Netflix.
You know what? Here's a challenge for us to improve our like artistic ideals and everything.
Widen our palettes.
Challenge ourselves. Each week, me and you watch one random movie that is not a comic book movie, not an action, like it can be an action movie, but not a comic book movie, not something we've seen before, a foreign film, just something, and just give like a 5-minute book report on this podcast.
totally do that. I'd have to like move a few things around in my weekly schedule, but I could probably still get that in.
And here's the thing: if we don't get to it, it's not the end of the world. But like, just to like improve our palettes, expand our horizons, let's do it.
Yeah, fucking analytical fanboys rebirth. Let's start a Google Drive list.
So yeah. Let's fucking do it. I know what I'm watching. I'm watching those historic epics because I think that's the one with like. There's a scene that went around. It was an action scene where like the dudes like balled up in a huddle and like had their shields out and they were flung by a catapult and it was like, oh, that's badass. I don't know if it's that movie, but like, it's that kind of vibe. It's that kind of historic sword and shields, mythic storytelling.
And that's called RRR, right?
RRR is the one that just came out. I think it's not on streaming yet, and we need to keep an eye on it for it.
Okay, well, send me whatever one you're gonna watch, because it's either that or I watch Hail.
Yeah. We could watch different ones. That's the thing. But here's the thing: we do have toy news to talk about. It is that movie. Thank you, Aki. Thank you so much.
We have been on a tangent for far too long. We got a lot of toy news.
Well, I mean, we're dumb Americans being excited about a foreign film market, you know. We are babs looking at wonder. But we got toys. Mcfarland. Wait, hold on, wrong button. Mcfarland Toys. Blackest Night. Atrocitus teaser.
Yeah, this is going to be the Build-A-Figure for the Blackest Night wave that they've been revealing over the last couple weeks. And I think this is a really good looking Atrocitus. There's been a surprising amount of Atrocitus figures since his debut. And I think this looks as good as any of them. Not necessarily better, but just as good. And if you don't want to go and hunt down one of those older ones, this is your chance to get it. Because that whole Blackest Night wave, I'd say, looks pretty solid. It's definitely the first multiverse wave that's made me go, you know, I might get that whole wave to do the Build-A-Figure.
Yeah. It looks good. It looks really solid. Mm-hmm. It's interesting that he's like one of the more recent villains that just like stuck. Like he's actually stuck within the big list of bad guys.
Johns' run on Green Lantern was so influential that like everything he introduced has become like, oh yeah, that's Cosmic DC. That's how Cosmic DC works, right? All the Lantern Corps and Black Hand and fucking Necrom and the Anti-Monitor, right? That's all shit that.
It's weird that like DC's cosmic cosmology wasn't like really solidified till like then, and you have Marvel over here just going like, oh yeah, no, Adam Warlock, Celestials, Thanos is over there. You know, he does his thing.
Mm-hmm. Until like 0405, I think is when Johns' run on Green Lantern started. It was just the New Gods and Apocalypse and the War World. Those are somewhere. Yes. And there's like maybe 1,000 random generic races that were made up during the Silver Age.
Yeah. Not to say anyone's better. It's just always funny to me to see the parallels and differences between Marvel and DC.
Mm-hmm.
But we also have more solidified solicitation photos for the Blackest Night wave.
Yeah, we get to see the pretty promotional shots of everybody and just the general layout of who's coming with what Atrocitus parts. And I like how this wave looks.
It's solid. They aren't bad, but like I would rather like they aren't. Hold on, what's the words I'm looking for? They are good, and if you're a really big fan of that event, it seems like a must-have. But like, as a person who is not a big fan of the event, they seem entirely...
Like the first 2 comic events I ever read was I read Blackest Night in trade, and I read Fear itself as it was happening.
Yeah, Grant Morrison does a lot of things, but it's always Grant Morrison stuff.
Yeah, a lot of Morrison. I didn't get super far into Morrison's Green Lantern. I need to finish it, but I remember the early issues just being like, you think you know Green Lantern? He has random shit from the Silver Age nobody's fought of in ages. Yeah. Fucking evil star, bitch.
Yeah, that's the thing. Grant Morrison loves Grant Morrison's work and the weird, goofy bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And Kirby. Grant loves Kirby.
Yeah, Grant has a lot of respect for Jack.
Mm-hmm. Firestorm, he looks cool.
Deathstorm.
Is he not Firestorm?
He is Firestorm. They just call him Deathstorm when he's a Black Lantern.
Okay. I thought, is he like a bad guy that got brought back? I don't... Because, I mean, there's Flash and then there's just Reverse Flash.
Yeah.
There's Superman and then there's Bizarro Superman.
Well, Bizarro Superman's just Bizarro. He isn't... He says, me am Superman for, like, his first appearance, and then he goes, me am Bizarro.
But also, doesn't he speak in opposite? So wouldn't he say, me not Superman?
Yeah. All right. Bizarro speak is one of the few things about comics that, like, genuinely is hard for me to wrap my head around.
I think that's the point. And then we have Kyle Rayner.
Yeah. Who I do think, getting a better look at him, I wish the green on his costume was a little darker. But other than that,
green. It's a pea green.
Yeah, it's like sweet peas.
Yeah.
Should be more of a tea leaf, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's not bad.
But it is a good look. It's how I think of Kyle, because that's the look he was sporting when I got into comics.
But yeah, no, a solid way for the people who want him.
Mm-hmm.
But then we do have some SH Figure Arts news, I think. Yes, SH Figure Arts No Way Home Iron Spider toy.
Yeah, this is essentially a repaint re-release of the Endgame Iron Spider, where they've put blue in the eyes, made the red a little brighter, and they've made the gold outlines thinner. It's a more accurate figure, but like if you've already got the Endgame one, you don't really need this, in my opinion.
No, but it's a fun little release. Not the worst thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it looks like it comes with the webs.
Yeah, it's their... I also just remembered, this is their third MCU Iron Spider, and 8th Spider-Man overall.
Oh, man. I just had a thought. What will happen when we actually get Toei Spider-Man in frickin' Spider-Verse, and they might have an opportunity. They might have an opportunity. Bandai will have the opportunity to make Leopoldon again.
Because they made a Soul Chigokin Leopardon and an SH Figure Arts Spider-Man. And on the rumor list forever this year has been a Marvel Legends Spider-Man. So we might be getting a Spider-Man renaissance in the coming year.
Yeah.
I would back that HasLab in an instant, Hockey.
I would bet that would be cool, but I also can imagine Bandai just re-releasing Leopoldon, like even outside of what happens in the movie, of just a brand new brand new release of Soul Chigokin.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it again. But speaking of metal, we have the one, the only, the Doctor, the Doom, Mezco 112 figure.
This thing is absolutely gorgeous. It is a perfect Mezco style interpretation of the character, and quite possibly the best Doom figure ever made, just looking at it. Like, I'm perfectly happy with my Marvel Legends Doctor Doom, but God, do I want this thing in a way I have not wanted a Mezco figure since their comic Superman got revealed last year.
It is a phenomenal looking figure. It's Doom. This is Doom.
Mm-hmm.
And the fucking scarred face. Removable
Yeah.
cape with integrated posing wire. He has magic. He has tech. This is what you want from a Doom.
This is everything you could possibly want from a Doom. That spellbook opens and there's individually printed pages.
Oh, it's so good.
Parts of the suit are going to be metal.
We get multiple different masks. So you can have different Dooms. You can have the rivets, you can have them not. You can choose your Doom face. Is he not scarred and it's all psychological, or is he scarred?
Mm-hmm. You got modular belt setup.
God damn, the book. Oh, it's so good. This is Doom. Doom.
This is Doom.
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 Doom. Doom. Doom.
Doom. Doom. Doom. Doom.
He has fucking Doctor Strange hands.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking lightning. Ah, it's so good. The only thing that might make this better, that's Cosmic Siphon from Secret Wars, I believe.
Yeah, but that'll pair nicely with a certain big purple boy that's going to be dropping later this year.
The only thing that I could say could make this a 100% must-have for a Doom fan is the Time Machine chair.
Oh, buddy. You know there's got to be a third party working on that.
There's a third party working on a Time Machine chair, because that's like... That, to me, is what Doom is. He's sitting in his time machine chair, scheming.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, man, that's a good Doom.
Yeah. The only thing that stings about this is it's the first Mezco figure with a price hike due to the world situation. So, like, a figure like this would normally be about 110. It's 150.
Yeah. No, we're not putting Doom in a jar. And we're not putting this in a jar because we are getting a Kotobukiya Kate Bishop Bishojo statue.
Yeah, so we normally don't talk about statues on the show, but I wanted to bring this up because there's been a bit of a debate sparked by this thing. Yeah. Because anime fans who are normally into the Bishojo line have been going like, oh man, they made the Kate Bishop design look awesome based off of this crappy comic book art. And comic book fans have been going, they overly sexualized Kate Bishop. What's going on?
This is not overly sexualized. This is not what an overly sexualized anime girl looks like, guys.
This is like the most tame Bishojo statue I've ever seen. Like, look up their fucking Supergirl sometime.
This is the most tame Bishojo statue. And that picture, which is what I saw, that's just to show what the costume looks like. That's it. It's not saying like, oh, we changed it and made it better. No, it's just costume.
Yeah. This figure is fine. Shut up. The debate about this thing was stupid. It looks perfectly fine. If you don't have a comic book Kate Bishop, this is a good stand-in.
This is also just a good Bishojo looking statue.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, people who are you might have seen some of the Bishojo statues. The Lady Freddy and the Lady Jason, those are Bishojo.
Yeah. Bishojo, aren't they the people who are doing that gender bend Optimus Prime and Megatron that people have been obsessing over?
I think so. I mean, they probably have. Kotobukiya does a lot of things. Kotobukiya is like the premier anime statue people.
Yeah.
Kia Bishojo. Yeah, no, Bishojo. Yeah, no, I'm just looking at their English website, Bishojo line. Let's see, we got we got Kate Bishop, we got Lilith from Darkstalkers, a bunch of Darkstalkers. We got G.I. Joe, we got Mai from SNK, we got My Little Pony.
I just looked it up by name, and yeah, they are the people who are doing Tomboy Optimus Prime and Dami Mommy Megatron.
God. Oh, whoa, they did a Sniper Wolf. They really did a Sniper Wolf from Metal Gear Solid. Look at
that. Now that's an overly sexualized statue.
Yeah, but that's also Sniper Wolf's character.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's kind of the vibe, you know? Oh, they made a Leatherface.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm just looking at some of them. Supergirl. Supergirl doesn't look that bad.
I'm thinking of another company.
No, Supergirl looks sensual, but not sexual.
This is not the statue I'm thinking.
Yeah.
There's another statue where she's got like Power Girl level cleavage I saw years ago.
Oh, Big Titty Goth Girlfriend?
Oh.
Who wouldn't want Big Titty Goth Girlfriend Beetlejuice?
Yeah.
We got Baroness. You know, all the classics.
Poison Ivy's a pretty sexy costume. I'm sure what their Poison Ivy looks like.
I'm trying to remember when the Poison Ivy happened.
She was on the last page. I saw her.
Yeah. But like, then you got like Miss Marvel. Like that's really good. That's a really good statue.
Yeah, that just looks like comic Kamala to me. That's not sexy at all.
Edward Scissorhands, who I think is Goth Lolita. Yeah, Goth Lolita.
Oh yeah.
Eddie. But yeah. Where is it? Yeah, Poison Ivy. And even then, she's not that sexual.
Yeah.
But they're good statues.
Need to calm down, you Twitter Puritans.
Yeah. And even if it was sexual, it's not being targeted to kids. It's for adult collectors.
Yeah.
Ain't the end of the goddamn world. 2014, Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah.
I just want to look at the Sakura real quick, and then we'll move on.
Uh-huh.
The Sakura looks real cool. All right. But yeah, no, Kate Bishop totally looks cool. Anybody saying like this is the reason why American comic books are not selling well are being idiots.
Mm-hmm.
Repeat after me, everybody. The reason why American comic books do not sell is because people don't know where to fucking buy them.
Return comic books to grocery stores and gas stations. God damn it.
Spider-Man should be in every fucking grocery store ever.
Mm-hmm. Like, you don't have to put Black Label books at the checkout aisle, but like put World's Finest at the checkout aisle.
Put Batman and Superman. Put an ongoing Superman book, ongoing Spider-Man book. Like, just put books out in front of people. Like, everybody just goes like, oh no, it's all the wokeness. It's all the writers just shoving in gay shit into the books. Nobody's buying them. No. That's not the reason why people aren't buying them, Jimmy. I'm sorry to tell you this.
People would buy them if they saw that shit in the checkout aisle, because they'd be like, whoa, what the fuck? Superman's son is Superman and he's gay now? I gotta see this.
Yeah.
By the way,
you want to know why manga sells so much in America? Because it's fucking everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You go to Walmart, pick up some manga. You can go anywhere. Needs to change internationally as well. Yeah, no.
Comic book distribution. Thanks for bringing that up, Aki, because comic book distribution in, like, just talking about Europe is a fucking nightmare.
I mean, unless you're talking about European comics, and they got that down pat.
Oh, yeah.
Shout outs to 2000 AD. I need to catch up on Dread. I was started reading it, and I need to, like, I'm still, like, super early into it. The comic book distribution's just dog shit.
Yeah, we gotta fix that shit.
And anybody who wants to try and fix it are too small to do anything about it, because there was an independent comic books publisher who was trying to publish books in Walmart.
Uh-huh.
But, like, I barely saw anybody talk about them.
Mm-hmm. And then the Walmart giants were they were confusing even the comic book fans.
Yeah. You want to know what you do with that? You make them a magazine, and you put them next to the fucking aisle, the checkout.
Mm-hmm.
Don't put them in the collector's area. No one goes there.
Yeah. The only people who go there are weirdos who are trying to make a buck opening Pokemon cards on Twitch.
Comic book distribution, and we all know the reasons why. It's because of the fucking dude from Marvel doing all the bullshit. It's because Diamond fucking became a monopoly, and no one wants to actually shake the boat on comic distribution because of the fear of bankruptcy from the late 90s.
The 90s were truly the darkest time.
You know,
the 90s are like the World War II of comics. We're still feeling their effects today.
It's a lot of bullshit, but there's any, and you want to know what proves that point, that it's not the gay shit that's not the problem. Citrus was one of the most popular fucking mangas in America. Do you know what Citrus is about?
I've never heard of this.
It's a Yuri manga.
Ah.
It's fucking lesbians.
Sick.
So, like, you can take that fucking argument and throw it away. It was one of the most well-selling manga here in America. Gayness, LGBT things have nothing to do with it. It is purely a distribution issue. Shut the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I just hate that. I hate it.
Yeah. You know what else is a bit of a problem? I realize this tangent has probably gone on for far too long at this point, but constantly restarting books, like, I get why we do it, and I'm not one of those people who just complains about it on principle, but I do know it's alienating for outsiders. Like, invoke a name I have not invoked in quite a while, just to give an example, I distinctly remember once upon a time Digibro saying he was a huge Batwoman fan, but he stopped reading it because he thought it was over, and then he found out 2 years later that there'd been like a bunch of issues since then, but it had restarted.
Yeah. Here's the thing. They need to be upfront and clear about what they're doing. It's fine to it's fine for when a creative team is done with a book to end that and start a brand new numbering. Be clear that's what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
This like creative team is done.
One, that you should always stick to this. Like, don't just keep a book going with a fill-in team until you can get a new team on there. Stop the book until you get the new people who you want or who want to work on it in, and then publish that new number one with a big blurb on the front that says, new creative team, new direction.
Yeah, that's fine. I understand that. That makes total fucking sense, because every number one then becomes a brand new entry point for a brand new artistic team for people to get into. That makes total sense. It's just, be clear, be direct, say what you're doing.
Yeah, the only books that at this point should just be going because they have to keep going are action and detective.
Oh yeah, no.
Everything else, take a break when somebody's done with it, even if it's just for a month.
Or if you don't want to stop publishing and you want to wait until another creative team and you want to figure out, do what Spider-Man did. Make a group of people and you do one story beginning, middle, and end.
Even then, I feel like that was kind of like, it was good, but I feel like that's an experiment we don't need to repeat.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, you can do, like, you're ending Batman because you want to do another creative team, but you don't want to have Batman off the shelves for 6 months. Hey, why don't we just publish the 6-issue miniseries in the meantime?
Yeah, why don't we just highlight one of the 8 Batman minis we already have going?
I don't know. But also, there's a bunch of distribution's just fucking DC's much better at it than Marvel is.
Mm-hmm.
Because how many goddamn trade paperbacks of DC books are there?
Yeah, well, DC's great at just spitting out those evergreen trades. I mean,
but I mean, like, how many evergreen Marvel stories are there? Because Marvel tried to do it. No, Chip Zdarsky tried to do it, and Marvel fucking shat on him.
I mean, I could name a couple classics. There's Kraven's Last Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
And there's Kraven's Last Hunt.
Hold on, I can name a couple. Kraven's Last Hunt, Kree-Skrull War,
Coming of Galactus.
Coming of Galactus, but even then, that's real fucking short. Team it up with the Trial of Reed Richards, and you're good.
Yeah.
Dark Phoenix Saga.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Days of Future Past, but that's only 2 issues.
Yeah, they usually pad Days of Future Past with a bunch of stuff that happens before and after.
Mm-hmm. Death of Captain Marvel.
Clone Saga is not an evergreen trade, Aki. That's like a fucking 2-volume omnibus.
No, it's not a 2-volume omnibus. It's a 3-volume omnibus. It's fucking huge. Because it wasn't just one Spider-Man book. It was like 3 Spider-Man books all going all at the same time, all telling the same story.
Yeah.
For like 4 years. Age of Apocalypse?
I feel like nostalgia and like esteem for Age of Apocalypse is a fairly recent thing. I hadn't heard of it and I hadn't seen it anywhere until like I got on the internet.
But that's kind of like the big problem with Marvel is Marvel's just ongoing stories. DC lets individual stories stand on their own a lot more often.
Not Maximum Carnage, but yeah, Maximum Carnage is one you usually see in the libraries.
Yeah, you could probably do that with the Venom books. Lethal Protector.
Yeah,
because they were just made as 6-issue miniseries that just never ended.
they were doing that the sort of modern policy of just not say whether it's a mini or an ongoing, and then decide as you get the sales in. Back then with Venom.
You know what? There's some other ones. There you got the Extremis Saga for Iron Man.
Yeah, yeah, but that's super recent, and I feel like that took off because it was the Iron Man thing happening or had just happened when the movie came out.
Kate's Venom is kind of evergreen, but it's really long and it's multi-volume.
Yeah, yeah, no, no. Kate's Venom is one of those things where you get into comics and you go, "I like Venom. Where do I start?" And they
Kate's.
go like, "Okay, here's Black Costume Saga. Here's Return of Venom, and now here's Kate."
Aaron's Thor would be one, like evergreen, like continuously pump out. Aaron's
But
Thor.
but like those are runs. Those
Yeah.
aren't one trade you can hand to
Yeah,
somebody.
you need
I
like
can
a
say
6-issue miniseries or a 12-issue miniseries and just go like, here you go. This is all you need. Story beginning, middle, and end. You don't need continuity. You don't need anything. It's just a story.
like you don't say to somebody, "Read Mike Grell's Green Arrow." You say, "Read Longbow Hunters."
Yeah. And Marvel just doesn't have a ton of them because they're so couched in everything else going on that there's always like one plot line that's just like, oh yeah, you have to know that. You have to know that shit too. Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
No, President Loki.
Yeah, Vote Loki is a
Vote
fairly
Loki is a
recent
good
one.
one. Vote Loki would be a good get for that. Um,
Yeah, you could hand somebody just the God Butcher, I feel like.
yeah, you could do that. You could do that.
You could hand somebody, I don't think it exists, but if there was a trade of just Tom King's I Am trilogy, you could hand him
Vision,
that.
the Visions,
Yeah, the Visions.
the Visions. Spider-Man Red, no, Spider-Man Blue, Daredevil Yellow, Hulk Gray. Those
Yeah, we
three.
got Life Story now.
Life Story. I don't know because Spider.
Daredevil, the Man Without Fear.
Mm-hmm. There's some, but they're not printed often. They're not in publication.
Yeah, you got to know about them to know about a lot of them.
Well, meanwhile, you can just fucking go anywhere and fucking find a copy of Watchmen. Fucking find a copy of Infinite Crisis.
Yeah.
Just find them. Freefall, yeah. Hawkeye, the first run of the Hawkeye stuff.
There's probably a copy of
Shambhala, The Omen. No, Shambhala, Doctor Strange, Shambhala, Doctor Strange, The Oath.
I mean, I've showed it so much this episode, but there's probably a copy of this at your local library. This trade is literal vermin in terms of how many copies of it have been printed.
Yeah. But Marvel just doesn't print any of their classic stories, so that's just a problem with Marvel. They're just so... Sal from Comic Pop explained it like this. Marvel is so afraid of having extra stock and not being able to sell it, they underprint everything. Which is weird, because they're owned by Disney, they can have the extra stock.
Yeah.
You want to know what you do with the extra stock, Marvel? You send it to Disneyland and you sell it at the fucking parks.
Instead of canceling people's Marvel Legends pre-orders.
I love Marvel comics. I don't like Marvel business.
Mm-hmm.
It's the classic story. But we got some Spider-Man No Way Home hot toys. We got Electro.
Yeah, I'd say this is slightly better than the Kate Bishop we looked at yesterday in that it doesn't look totally lifeless, but it still doesn't look exciting enough that I'm like, that's a Hot Toys I would own.
No, but also, it's cool that they gave him the fucking face thing.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
Also, he's a fucking New Yorker wearing the Timbs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is just Hot Toys Jamie Foxx, Aki.
You could probably put him in a suit and give him some sunglasses, and you could say, like, I got a Hot Toys Ray Charles.
Hey.
It's a good likeness. It's really good. It's well done. And there's not enough has been said about like how well they actually changed up Electro to fit the comic book, but also keep the vibe.
I don't love it, but also I'm deeply aware that we're never getting the comic book Electro costume on screen.
Marvel Comics doesn't even want to have the Electro costume in the books anymore.
Cowards. Cowards, I say.
No, it looks good. If you're into Hot Toys and you want them, seems like a good purchase. We then got Black Panther Legacy Collection, which just seems to be like kind of redos of some older characters, like new sculpts.
Not new sculpts. This is actually a lot of reissues with updated deco, and it really threw me at first because this is basically them doing the buzzworthy Bumblebee thing, but with a Marvel character. And I was like, why would you do this when there's not a movie out right now? And the movie they're making right now, nobody has any idea what it's going to be or if anybody's going to be interested to see it. And then Ryan from the Legends team explained on Twitter that basically this is meant to be for people who are fans of the first movie and missed out on the figures the first time around. It's their chance to do these figures and make them as accurate as they possibly can and give everybody another shot at them, because apparently these are going for a decent price on the aftermarket these days. I had no idea.
Also, looking at the old face compared to the new face, like night and day.
That's actually two different figures.
Shame on me.
It's okay. But like this is going to be the general release one. This is based on his costume at the start of the film, and then that first one, the vibranium suit, is going to be. I know both suits are vibranium, but it's the new suit he gets halfway through the movie that can do the boom thing.
Yeah.
That's going to be coming as a Target exclusive, I believe, as well as he's Walmart exclusive, and then the M'Baku in this collection. And M'Baku was a Build-A-Figure first time around, so this is your chance to get him if you didn't want to get that whole wave back then. He's going to be a Target exclusive.
I didn't realize he has Tabi shoes.
Yeah,
the toe shoes from Japan.
Sure does.
And then he just has regular toes.
Yeah, and I think this Killmonger is actually kind of a new figure, because that unmasked head came with just a civilian clothes figure, and then the tiger head or the panther head didn't have nearly as accurate a deco on it the first time around.
Yeah, he looks good. Got the half spear.
Mm-hmm.
No, looks real good, real good, real solid. M'Baku, he looks amazing.
Yeah. I think it's pretty much the same figure. They just like touched up some of the textures here and there.
Yeah. And then we got
Nakia. Who is there's a lot of updates on her. Like she's got new boots, and the deco on her pants is different, and her weapons were just solid silver originally. So this is a much more accurate deco for her.
Yeah. Also, the face just looks really good.
Mm-hmm.
There's a really nice lot of shading on the face. And then we have
there's that person.
Shuri.
They just cranked up the contrast on this figure. That's all they really did.
Yeah. Shame about the actress.
Yeah. God, how hard is it going to be to sit through that movie if she actually becomes Black Panther?
Very hard. Who's going to get kicked out of the MCU first? Her actress or the actress for Wasp?
Depends on who is more receptive to Disney's gag money.
Ooh. The shut up money.
Yeah.
And then finally, from Mcfarland, we have a Gunslinger Spawn.
Yeah, I believe this is an exclusive to somewhere. I don't remember where exactly, but it's
GameStop.
It's a GameStop exclusive. It's basically the same figure as the Gunslinger Spawn we got on its own, but the coat is now tan instead of black. And the horse is a repurposed DC Multiverse horse, the Build-A-Figure that came with the Dark Knight Returns wave.
It looks
so it's
good.
a fairly cool pack.
Yeah. Also, guns for your DC toys that need guns.
Mm-hmm. Todd, could you please put out a Jonah Hex in the next couple months?
Please and thank you. Oh, we got a Violator.
Yeah. Yeah, this clown is basically the same as the first clown, but he's got some blood deco on him, and I believe that chainsaw is new.
Alright.
He's fine.
But yeah, the horse looks really good. Nice opportunity for more people to get the horse.
Yeah. And we did it. We did the toy news. It's over.
We're an hour and 40 minutes into this goddamn podcast. And
now we get to talk about comics.
We still have like 15 comics to talk about. Oh boy.
I'll just tell my boss I had a busy weekend when I walk in at noon.
Oh buddy, oh pal, oh friend, oh mine. Hey, why don't you tell me about the death of the Justice League?
Okay. So Justice League number 75 by Joshua Williamson.
Mm-hmm.
I clicked on the wrong link. Hang on, I'm trying to bring it up here.
How dare you?
How dare I not be fully prepared?
How dare you? How dare you?
So, here's the thing.
Uh-huh.
And Williamson warned us about this in interviews and on his Twitter and stuff.
Uh-huh.
This is following up on a lot of shit Williamson has been doing for DC over the last few years, kind of building out of Grant Morrison's Multiversity. He did, I believe Justice League Incarnate was the one before this, and then there was like a couple other miniseries between the two. That's just like kind of big, crazy multiverse stuff that's been going on of like hashing out what the new cosmology of the DC multiverse is. And then this, which is essentially just him coming in and taking over Justice League right after Bendis leaves and saying, all right, we're doing a thing to set up the event that's going to be the DC event this summer. And it's literally going to just get to the point. There's not a lot of messing around in this issue. It's the Justice League gets teleported in to the Justice League Incarnate's messed up headquarters. And our characters are Aquaman, Martian Manhunter, Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, Green Lantern John Stewart, Zatanna, Hawk Girl, and then Avery Ho, the Flash of China from Earth Zero, Dino Cop from Earth 41, Mary Marvel from Earth 5, Aquawoman from Earth 11, Captain Carrot from Earth 26, Thunderer from Earth 7, and Dr. Multiverse from Earth 8, and President Superman from Earth 23. And it's essentially a big, hey, shit's been going down and we need your help. What shit has been going down? The fucking darkness from before the multiverse began has manifested as an actual being, and it's taken over Pariah from Crisis on Infinite Earths. And it's made him make a big scary device that's going to destroy the whole multiverse. And so the Justice League has to try and stop him. But he's not alone. He's got a big dark army, which is Ares, Doomsday, Eclipso, Trigon, Darkseid, Necrom, Upside Down Man, and Parallax.
Is it Upside Down Man from Justice League Dark?
Yeah. So,
I mean, you just say all those names and you just say Upside Down Man. He's like, you don't belong here.
You won the lottery today, sir.
It's like looking at the Legion of Doom and then the Joker's there. It's like, the fuck are you doing here, bud?
Mm-hmm. Riddler needed a fill-in. But no, it's a big slam bang action issue with a bunch of cool character moments, and as promised on the cover, yeah, everybody dies. Everybody gets a big damn go out like a hero moment of fighting a villain that they're known for fighting. Except for Ollie, who's the first to go because he gets his shit pounded in by Doomsday.
Oh, he's the jobber.
Yeah, but he actually dies in Dinah's arms, so that's at least nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and the way fucking Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman die, it's Flash dying in Crisis. How he turns into a skeleton and then dust, but they're fighting Parallax.
Jesus Christ. This is
or no, not Parallax, Pariah.
And then the issue ends?
No, they get killed, and then the Justice League Incarnate and the few members of the regular Justice League that are left get killed, and then Black Adam tries to be a hero, and for his heroism, he gets zapped to the Hall of Justice, where Wally West, Naomi, Detective Chimp, Firestorm, and John Kent Superman are trying to figure out where everybody went, and then he just crashes in and he's just like, the Justice League are dead. To be continued in Dark Crisis #1.
When is that happening?
That's next month.
All right.
Free Comic Book Day is actually the day after Doctor Strange comes out, and there's going to be a prequel issue in that will be essentially a lot of character stuff. Williamson said he wants that to be the issue that draws you into Dark Crisis. It's Dark Crisis #0, I believe, and it's going to be people actually mourning the Justice League.
Now here's a question: is this going to be an actual crisis, or is this a crisis in name only?
I think it's going to be an actual crisis, because I don't think we've seen the last of Pariah and his Dark Army.
What I mean, though, is this going to be like, all right, we're changing some things, so we're cleaning up the continuity kind of crisis?
There might be a little bit of that, but I do think it's going to be a lot more like, we're fighting this big army, but it's also about the characters and how far the DC universe has come.
Okay. Did you enjoy it?
Exactly what it says on the tin. So if you don't like that in concept, you're not going to like it. But for me, as somebody who's like, well, you didn't lie to me. I didn't go into this expecting just a regular Justice League adventure. I knew this was the death of the Justice League, and I got the death of the Justice League, and you did it pretty well. So I enjoyed it, yeah.
All right. Now, we both read The Knights of X.
This was okay.
It is a sequel to Excalibur, so if you don't know what's going on there, you don't know what's going on there.
This is just more Excalibur, and I think I forgot to bookmark this issue. Let me see if I can find it.
It's more Excalibur, but it's also more directly, hey, we're going on a D&D adventure.
Yeah. I love when freaking Megan shows up and she's just like, oh, we get to go to Otherworld? Yeah, John can take care of the kid. He'll be fine.
Brian can take care of the kid.
Yeah. Brian, John, whatever generic white guy name he has.
Brian Braddock.
Yeah. But also, there's Magic Sentinels now.
Yeah, Magic Sentinels. They're not Sentinels. They're Furies.
Fuck off. They're Sentinels.
They're Sentinels. Basically, Otherworld is in chaos. They're killing Witchbreed, which is magic for mutant. And Betsy Braddock is having to solve the thing, and they need a MacGuffin, and they need to assemble a team of 10 worthy knights to
She needs a team of teenagers with attitude.
To go and save it. So you get Gambit, you get Richter, Shatterstar, Bay, B-E-I, the wife of Douglas, and I love
Bay of the Blood Moon.
Bay of the Blood Moon, and I love how she was just like, "You took me away from my husband. I am sad."
Jubilee and Shogo.
Jubilee's not there though.
Yeah, she doesn't get let through the portal.
Megan, the wife of Brian Braddock, Rachel Summers, and Mordred, the son of King Arthur, and another classic mutant, I'm assume, that we haven't seen in years.
Yeah, it's just a whole bunch of folks who you're excited to see.
Yeah, and they're gonna go on a madcap adventure.
It's an all right start. I feel like this is one of those things where I'm going to read just to generally keep up with what's going on with X-Men, but not really be super into.
Unless something happens and you go like, ooh, I'm interested now.
Yeah. Which could very well happen.
Yeah,
but at the moment, I'm just like...
This is all just assembling the party. We haven't gone on the story yet.
Yeah, at the moment, I'm just like, yeah, this is a lot of Boingo for shit.
I'm excited for it. Because also Gambit's there.
Yeah. Also, Hasbro, where's my frickin' Marvel Legends Captain Britain Betsy Braddock? Mm-hmm. She's got a second design now. Come on.
Also, I love how they all kind of fit different. I'm sorry to tell you this, Aki. Mordred is more often than not a little piece of shit dude.
Yeah.
But also, like, everybody kind of fits different, like, D&D party type archetypes. It's fun. Mm-hmm. Like, Gambit's the thief. He's the rogue.
Yeah.
It's neat. It's fun. Hey, tell me about Rogue Sun.
Alright, Rogue Sun, issue 3. Waiting for it to load so I can remember what happened in it.
Words happened.
I do like this book, I swear. But no, they introduced an interesting concept in the world in this issue, which is, what does Rogue Sun do with his supervillains? Because a lot of his supervillains have crazy, insane powers, and they can't go to regular jail.
Mm-hmm.
He knows a magic lady who seals them away in diamonds, and they have a metaphysical diamond prison that they're stuck in.
All right.
Yeah, that's a whole thing. So after that is introduced, we then actually get some investigation on how the last Rogue Sun died, and the prime suspect is actually the other son, the youngest of the half siblings, because he had come to him the night before and basically implied that he had done something bad, and we're led to believe that something bad might have been putting a hit out on his dad because he was mad at his dad for something his dad had done at some point, because he's a little rich shit. So yeah, you'd expect that of him. But they track him and they find him making deals with a sorcerer to try and get ingredients to create a potion to bring his dad back from the dead. He didn't kill his dad. He doesn't hate his dad. He just misses his dad. And the thing that had been done bad, it was actually a friend of his who had set his teacher's car on fire.
Oh.
Yeah.
So still no answer to the mystery, though.
Yeah. But you also get, like, a neat little bonding moment where, like, the entire series so far, Rogue Sun has basically been like, this kid sucks. He's an entitled rich brat, and he knew my dad a whole lot more than I did. Fuck him. And then when he realizes, like, oh, this is just a little kid that misses his dad, and he needs a big brother. He, like, gives him an encouraging speech and says, like, hey, your dad's right here, right now, and he misses you too. It's okay. Even though his dad is not there right now. And it's nice. And then they give you a big old kick in the balls at the last second, because we finally find out who killed the last Rogue Sun. It wasn't Rogue Sun's half-brother. It was his half-sister who's been being nice to him this whole time.
Ooh.
And she let somebody out of the diamond prison to try and kill him.
Is she aiming for it? Is that what's going on?
I think so. I think that's what they're implying.
All right. Okay.
And she's got, like, a cool demon mask.
Good book?
Yeah, solid.
All right. You read Saga.
Yeah, I forgot to read Saga last month, so I read both issues because a new issue came out this week. So a lot has happened in this book. When we last left it, there was a big old cliffhanger about, like, the captain of the ship they were on wanting to find out if Alana had wings or not, because he wanted her to do a job with him, but he was a racist asshole. So, chapter 57 opens up with a flashback where we find out after the big fight, before the time skip, Alana had her wings surgically removed because one of them was injured so bad that she wouldn't have been able to fly anyway. and she knew something like this might happen one day, and she wanted to be able to protect her kid and pass as not one of the wings, but also not one of the horns. So she could essentially go anywhere and not get in trouble as long as
she didn't raise suspicion.
Hazel covered up. Yeah. And as long as Hazel covered up, because Hazel has both wings and horns. And there's like this sweet scene of her chatting with this wolf doctor lady who operates outside of
the law,
traditional medical law, who has a bunch of puppies herself, and is like, yeah, I get it. I'm here for you. I've lost someone as well. But the captain's still being an asshole about it, and it's essentially and he's like, oh, I was just joking. I wasn't gonna kill your kids. Don't worry about it. I just need you to cooperate. And she's like, yeah, fuck you. Where do I have to go to do this job? So she leaves the kids on the ship with I'm trying to remember his name. It's like Byzantine, I think it is.
Koala Man?
Yeah, Koala Man. And they're like bonding hardcore with the other crew members who all have a band. You can see them on 58 there. And we also find out that Prince Robot has a bit of a talent for music in this issue. He's like an idiot savant at the drums. Which may be a bit of a thing going forward. But Alana goes to take care of the thing and meets up with somebody who is a user of the drug she's trafficking, but also a distributor in that area, and is also somebody who had fallen in love in a way that you really shouldn't during this war, and their spouse died. And there's like a moment of like, are we gonna hook up? And then they decide not to. It's kind of an interesting introspective scene. But while all of this is happening, the Will takes Marco's skull to King Robot. And he says he's doing it on behalf of the opposing government. Because, God, there's so much shit happening in these books. I'm trying to remember character names and stuff like that. Gwendolyn told him to do it as a way of starting political upheaval and potentially either ending the war peacefully or intensifying it so much that it finally burns itself out. It's an idea of what happened to there's a very interesting thing where like the Will is clearly telling a completely fabricated story about how he found Marco, and Marco totally killed Prince Robot, when that's very much not what happened. And King Robot like fabricates this story about how his son was a total hero and he deserves to be honored and all that stuff. And it's a bit of an interesting commentary on sort of the way monarchies tend to overwork history, I think would be a good way to put it. And at the same time as all that is happening, back on the pirate ship, we find out a little bit more about Byzantine, because one of the crew members recognizes him and tells her captain about it, and he comes up and goes like, hey, you better start... Oh, Bombazine, that's his name. Bombazine. You better be real cooperative with me from now on, buddy, because I know that you happen to be a vigilante, and that's why you have a robot arm now. So you're gonna be a good boy, and I won't tell your boss about your past when she gets back, and maybe you'll do something for me once in a while. And I'll keep calling you Bombazine instead of your other handle, La Bushito. Implying that like he used to be like a Mexican wrestler looking vigilante on whatever planet he's from.
But like a good guy.
Yeah, like he was a good guy, but he has a rough past. And maybe Alana wouldn't want him around if she knew that.
Right.
And that's kind of where we're left off.
All right, fair enough. You enjoying it still?
Yeah. What's Augie referring to there with all of them escaping 2 or 3 years down the line?
The diamond things.
Oh yeah, that could totally be a thing. I could see that happening. So it wasn't as bad as I thought it'd be.
It's not bad. It's not horrible. I'm just tired of this return to this status quo. I'm just tired of it.
Peter's life is in shambles. MJ's not talking to him. Villain shit is going crazy.
Like, here's the thing. There are several aspects of this I find are really cool. Him being on outs with the Fantastic Four and the Human Torch trying to make a reconnection, but he can't because the Human Torch can't turn off his stuff. That's fun. I don't mind that. Because you can obviously see Johnny's wanting to reconnect and connect with them. And Peter being a little shit, the fucking Tombstone, hell yeah.
The Saga thing is like a script for El Matino for Sony.
Yeah.
I also like, I will say, like, I really like Tombstone in this. Like, I feel like this is the coolest Tombstone's ever been.
Oh, yeah, Tombstone's phenomenal in this. Also, brilliant redesign for the White Rabbit.
Uh-huh.
She looks amazing in this.
Like, and this just kind of sparked the thought in my mind. Everybody keeps going, oh man, after No Way Home, Peter's going to have no friends because they said Harry doesn't exist in the MCU and now Ned's not going to remember him. Robbie Robertson is right there. Yep. He's right there, guys.
Yep. I just hope this is like a one issue. All the things you don't like about Spider-Man. What's going to happen now?
Like I said, it's a Hydra Cap situation where this first issue makes you go, what the fuck? And then they're probably going to explain it within the next 3 issues.
Yeah, ugh.
Dude, I'll put down money that those kids aren't actually MJs.
No, I have a bet. I have a feeling that they aren't. They're the dude's kids and they're unrelated. She's just there helping take care of things. She just doesn't want to see Peter anymore right now because of something that happened. And I bet you dollars to donuts what happened. It wasn't fully Peter's fault, but Peter's being a little shit about it and everybody just doesn't want to fucking put up with that.
Mm-hmm. Like, this is just Ash post Pokemon week of like, bro, you didn't prep. We told you shit was going to go bad. And then it went bad. And now you're being a little bitch. And we're not going to reward this behavior.
We were on a good place, and then this happened, and it's just like, what was all that set up for and beyond then? Zeb, you were working with it! You were there!
There's also, well, this isn't Zeb Wells, this is Jed MacKay.
Really? Because that first name right there says Zeb Wells.
I was under the impression that Jed MacKay was taking over the book.
Nope. Zed Wells, John Romita Jr.
Huh. I completely missed that. What the fuck? And then also there's well, there is that Scarlet Spider book that's going on. Maybe that's gonna pick up on that stuff with that.
Who knows? I just wish, like, if this book just gave me a hint of, like, hey, by the way, this is, like, other than the 3 fucking panels we got of him in a fucking crater, like, give me more than that.
Mm-hmm. And I think we'll get that soon. But right now, it's just like, yeah. I'm just gonna bask in the glow of Chad Tombstone. That's my great plan for the next few issues.
Tombstone's like, this is the best Tombstone's looked in years. He's amazing. It's a great.
He's legitimately ascended to the level of Kingpin.
Oh, and yeah.
Kingpin's actual son is like, I would like my dad's holdings, and he's like, fuck off, bitch. You weren't his right-hand man for years. I was. I get this shit.
Yeah, no. And it's also just great, the scene with Robbie going like, hey, can I have your daughter's hand in marriage? And he goes like, kid, When I was a kid, you have to fucking take things. You don't ask for it. And either way, it doesn't matter what I say. She'll fucking do whatever she wants, and you know that.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming to me. Let's get some fucking booze.
That's like that was immediately like, okay, I like this guy. And then you get the scene with him and Peter in the limo where he's like, hey, tell Spider-Man I'm gonna be fucking some shit up and I don't need him getting in the way. Peter's like, oh, Spider-Man's gonna get in the fucking way. You're a weird kid, Parker. Get out of my car.
And also, anybody complaining about John Romita Jr.'s art, fuck off. It's good.
Oh yeah.
It's a stylized art. It's meant to look like this. Stop fucking complaining that it looks stylized.
Personally, I prefer Spider-Man art to be more stylized. One of my favorite Spider-Man artists is Humberto Ramos.
Yeah. No, I just saw some people complaining about it. But I'm going to continue reading it because I'm a fucking whipped Marvel fan. Dark Knights of Steel.
This issue is probably the most Game of Thrones this book has felt so far. There's a whole lot going on, a whole lot of political intrigue, and I'm trying to get it up so I can accurately recount things. I should really just open all the books up.
Do you have the RAM for that? Will it keep the pages up though?
Probably.
I don't fucking know. Fucking tell me about the book.
Hang on, I'm getting it.
Tell me about the book.
Okay, so the issue opens up with basically we find out where Tim Drake has been, because we talked about in the first issue Batman has all his Robins, but there was a notable absence of Tim Drake. We didn't know where he was. He's been spying in the Kingdom of Storms. He's been a member of King Jefferson's courts as sort of like an errand boy, specifically working under Constantine. And we've in the issue opens up with Tim finding Constantine in a drunken state of mourning for King Jefferson, and this I love Taylor's dialogue. Leave me be, boy. I'm mourning. You smell. That is part of the mourning process. You seem to have been drinking. That is a large part of the mourning process.
They did composite Superman?
Yeah. But there's a bit of a dialogue where he's like, look, King Jefferson's death was not your fault. You need to forgive yourself. Oh, if he was everyone's king, it's going to be okay. And then he's like, look, you don't know what King Jefferson...
Uh-oh. Vac?
So back off before I tell everybody that I know you're a spy. He's like, what? Yeah, I know you're one of his Robins. Get the fuck out of here.
Don't be a bitch.
And then Tim tries to press the issue, and so he throws him through a fucking door right as one of the princesses is walking with royal guards through the hallway, and he's just like, this little fucker's a spy. Arrest him. And so Tim is forced to flee back to the kingdom of the elves. And he reports back to their court, and he basically says everything we know of, like, well, they did send the assassin to kill Jor-El, but also Zala, who's standing right there, killed their king and their prince. Like, she did that. I saw her do that. And she's like, that's fucking bullshit. I would never. And Superman's like, that is total bullshit. My sister would never do that. You know, why are you lying to justify this war? And basically Lara is, their mom is basically just like, all right, everybody out. I'm gonna think about this shit. I'm thinking about this shit real hard. And then before Waller leaves, she goes, I know you already have a lot to consider, but I need to leave you with this. I do not believe the love between Diana and Zala can be broken. And if Hippolyta dies, Diana becomes queen of the Amazons. And the Amazons are the real threat here, because they're going to march with the Kingdom of Storms. And the Kingdom of Storms doesn't really have an army per se, whereas the Amazons are fucking Amazons. So basically, Waller's suggesting they assassinate Hippolyta to stop the war before it begins. Meanwhile, Constantine summons fucking Etrigan, and Etrigan's like, "The fuck you want?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to your other half." And we find out in this universe, his other half is Ra's al Ghul. So he has Ra's al Ghul examine the bodies, and he's like, "So can you bring them back? Yes or no?" "I can, but it's going to cost you." "How much?" "The children." What do you... "I want the Titans. Do we have an agreement or not?" So the Titans exist in this universe. What's going on with that? Meanwhile, Superman goes to talk with the Amazons, and they try to beat the shit out of him, but obviously he's invulnerable, so they can't. And then we get the first meeting of Superman and Lois Lane in this universe, because Lois lives on Themyscira in this universe. And there's a very interesting scene of like both of them calling each other on their bullshit. Right before Hippolyta steps up and goes, "No man can stand on is permitted to stand on Themyscira," and he goes, "I'm not standing on Themyscira," and you see he's like hovering a few inches above the ground. And she's like, "All right, well, you sought me, Kal-El. You have found me." And she stabs him through the gut with a magic sword.
Oof.
And he wakes up several hours later in a Amazonian dungeon tied to a pole with the lasso of truth. And Lois and him have this conversation about what's been happening and how it affects the two of them conversely, and it's really them kind of discovering each other for the first time, and it's kind of cute, interesting scene. But it ends with him going, "Well, we have to stop them. We have to stop them before they can join the Kingdom of Storms. I can explain things. I can tell them there's still time." And Lois just goes, "I'm sorry, spaceman. There isn't. The Amazon army is already sailing for the lands of El. The war is about to begin." And that's where we're left. So very interesting stuff.
Okay, I want to pitch you how it's going to end. Superman's going to team up with all the people who make the Justice League, and they're going to create a Knights of the Round Table. He's going to be like King Arthur, and he's going to stop the war.
Entirely possible, but don't forget he tried to kill Batman 2 issues ago, and we haven't seen Batman since, even though we know the Kents have him.
I mean, they can always make up.
True.
Tell me about the Amazons.
Alright, Trial of the Amazons. Number 2, the proper ending of this event. I feel really bad saying this, because this is like the first Wonder Woman event in over 3 decades. But I didn't like this.
Oh.
It's got some good concepts. There's some fun character moments. The art, no matter who is drawing an issue, it always looks great. But there's just some shit in this that I'm just like, what are you doing? Why this? Specifically the choice that Artemis basically gets off scot-free in this. Like, they say there's still a grudge, but Artemis gets to run away. And they seal the Doom's doorway. But we still don't have a champion for it. And the Amazons are all united finally. Except they're not. They're kind of fractured, and there's a bunch of looming threats still, and we're going to be doing another Nubia book to explore that after this. I will say, though, to be positive about this specific issue, there's a great scene where we finally get to see Diana and Yara bond, because they're cleaning up rubble from the big final battle, and Diana comes to her and goes like, "Hey, I want to show you something." And she takes her into the catacombs, and she says, this is my tiarmory. Because Wonder Woman has a tiara as part of her costume. So we get a display that's just basically a bunch of references. Here's every tiara Wonder Woman has ever worn.
That's cute. That's cute.
Linda
Carter?
Yeah, Linda Carter's in there. The Black Lantern tiara is in there. I don't think it's in this panel, but there's another armory in this issue where the Kingdom Come armor makes an appearance. Oh, and Flashpoint Wonder Woman's helmet is in the T-Armory, which is interesting. But there's just a bunch of tiaras, and it's like, pick one out. You need a tiara. Your hair keeps getting in your face. All right, you're officially Wonder Girl now. And she's like, but I'm 23. You really want us to Hawkeye this? I mean, it would make sense. I'll think about it. Kind of a thing. That's a cute scene. I really liked that. But overall, I can't recommend this event on the whole. I don't think this is something people need to go out and read.
Are you going to keep reading Wonder Woman?
I mean, I'll give it a shot, but Wonder Woman's just never been my thing. So it's one of those things where it's like, there's also a part of me that maybe if I had been reading Wonder Woman for like the last year and a half that they've been building to this, I would have liked this more. But yeah. I don't know.
All right. I read Punisher issue 2.
All right. How's Frank's dead wife?
Not dead, but also very weird. She has bullet wounds, and she's just lying in bed most of the time. And all the hand priests bring her medicine, and Frank goes like, "You need to make sure you take your medicine, and rest and heal up." And she goes like, "I feel like I've been resting for years." And then the final bit of the scene is she just goes, "Frank, when are we gonna see my kid? When are we gonna see our kids?" And Frank just goes, "Soon."
Fuck, dude.
Okay. As we see a day in the life of the Punisher, as the new Pope of the Hand, essentially. And we also get flashbacks to Frank as a child, and they're showing like, no, he's a problem child. He's always had violent tendencies. He had anger issues as a kid.
Frank's a MGTOW for a reason.
All that kind of stuff. And basically, the priestess woman goes like, "All right, Frank, I see you're using katana and you're practicing and you're trying to fight our ninjas, and I appreciate that. But here's the thing, you fucking suck at it. That's not what we brought you in. You don't need to learn how to use the katana. You have other skills. You're good at those. We just need you don't need to focus on these." And she basically goes like, You, hand ninja he's fighting. What's your name?" "I don't have a name. I'm a maggot at the foot of the beast." "All right, maggot. How long have you been using a sword?" Since I was 5, ma'am. Tragic backstory." "All right, you, hand ninja. How long have you been using a sword?" "Oh, since I was 10. Tragic backstory." "You, how long have you been using a sword?" "Oh, since I was born. Tragic backstory." And she just goes like, "See? They've been using a sword all their lives. You haven't. Use the weapons you know. Guns."
So essentially all that shit about this being a reinvention of the Punisher to escape the bad image he's gotten in the mainstream, and he'll never be the same again, that's bullshit.
No, they're just finally acknowledging that the Punisher's not a good guy.
Yeah.
It's just going like, "No, you're an evil little piece of shit, fucker. That's who you are." It's fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And you read Godzilla vs. Power Rangers Mighty Morphin.
This is a bit of a step down from the first issue, I'm just going to go ahead and admit. Primarily because they try and do some regular Ranger fights in this issue, and I like Freddie Williams' art style. He's very good at drawing kaiju fights, big bombastic giant things slamming into each other.
Mm-hmm.
He sucks at doing ground level martial arts. It just looks like they're flailing around and posing in the air. But there is some solid development happening here, and it does. This does feature my favorite Toho kaiju, so I kind of gotta give it points for that. You put Gamera and stuff, and then I can't be really mad at it. Or not Gamera.
Ghidorah.
I'm sucking at names today.
What do they look like?
Gigan.
Gigan. Okay.
Yeah, Gigan's my boy. But yeah, this is an okay issue. It's just going like you would expect. Bunch of kaijus have the Rangers on the rope. Godzilla retreats because they beat the fuck out of him, and then big last page reveal. Not only is this damaged Megazord fighting Gigan, but now Rhino Blaster and Eye Guy, who are MMPR Monsters of the Week, have joined the field.
Neat.
Yeah.
Action Comics 142.
This book is just crazy fun.
He's dressed like He-Man.
Yeah.
Is that the Kingdom Come S?
Yeah.
Damn.
They're doing some shit, buddy. Primarily, we actually do check in with John and Lois a little bit here, because they're still keeping an eye on that one lady from the Lost Kryptonian colony, and we get a little bit more clarification on what that colony's whole thing and how it came about there, because Lois is writing an article about them out of the archives at the fortress. But there's also a weird power thing happening with her where she keeps flaring up, and we cut back to the battle on Warworld to kind of see how that's going. And there's a lot of just like big bombastic action along with postulating from the characters about like the impact Superman has had on these people and what's going on. When suddenly we find out that back on Earth, Lois traces where the signals messing with the one refugee are coming from, and we find out John Henry Irons has been working on some shit for Superman. He's been studying the alien device that came on the World ship with this refugee lady, and it's been pulsating and going crazy, and big cliffhanger is it flares up right in his and Lois's face, and next issue, the World Revolution begins.
Ooh. Do you think this is going to go down as like a classic Superman arc?
I think it should, but it's interestingly been like below everyone's radar. Like only like really big Superman fans have been talking about this book. I don't see a lot of general DC fans talking about it, because a lot of people seem to be looking at this and going like, I like Superman. I don't want to read Superman being He-Man. That's not interesting to me. I want to read Superman as John Carter of Mars. And I'm like, all right, but that's like saying you only like one specific type of Batman. Because this is a very Superman story, just with a very atypical backdrop. That they did a lot of Superman stuff to build up to as well.
Thank you, Grant Morrison.
Mm-hmm.
I read Batman Beyond the White Knight.
Oh, hey, you're up on your White Knight shit. I haven't been reading this since that first miniseries.
Okay, so for people who aren't aware, this is the third of the miniseries, the third of the trilogy. There is Batman White Knight, Batman Curse of the White Knight, and now this is Beyond the White Knight. And for people who do not know what's going on, White Knight, Joker goes sane and tries to save Gotham, and Batman realizes, oh, wait a second, maybe some of my methods aren't working, and the rich are taking advantage of Batman.
Mm-hmm. And that whole book is
I'm being hailed, hold on.
because I did really like that book. I want to read more out of this universe, but I'll say like that whole book is really impressive to me, in that it's like Sean Gordon Murphy contextualizing a lot of modern criticisms of Batman in a Batman story, while also just going like, and I'm gonna do this thing from my childhood that I like, and I'm gonna do this thing from my childhood that I like, and I'm gonna do this thing from my childhood that I like. It's a fun book. I liked it. You're muted.
The White Knight books are good.
Yeah.
Curse of the White Knight basically is What If Nightfall, but all about Azrael. Okay. And it ends with basically Bruce Wayne going like, you know what? Yeah, I take me to jail. This whole situation's fucked. I trust in Dick. I trust in Dick. I trust in Gordon. I trust in all y'all to fix Gotham. I fucked up. Take me to jail. So he's in jail, and it ends the Curse of the White Knight with Jason Todd coming back into Bruce Wayne's life to basically keep an eye on him as his personal prison guard. Beyond the White Knight starts 10 years later. Okay? Bruce Wayne is about like 60 years old. Riots happen every once in a while in the prison, and the guards just go like, hey Bruce, can you take care of it? You can handle them. Okay? And everything outside of the prison has gone tits up. All the things Bruce Wayne tried to set up in order to help Gotham and do all that kind of stuff, nope, they got taken advantage of by the person who was in charge of Wayne Motors Powers. Daniel Powers.
That name rings a bell. I'm trying to remember why.
He's the bad guy from Batman Beyond.
Oh yeah, that's right. He's fucking he's Green Goopy Man.
Yep. And he has
like that's his villain.
I haven't seen anything of that. Drake. But Powers has basically taken over Wayne, and it's now called Wayne Powers, and they are now a weapons manufacturer. And the GTO, do you know the thing that
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay. It is now basically RoboCops. They're not cyborgs, but they're basically a privatized police force completely separate from the GCPD.
Cool.
And they're driving around in bat tanks. Basically, It's an entire force of shitty Batmen. Okay. Barbara Gordon's now the commissioner of police, and she's at Dick's throat because Dick's still on the GTO, thinking he's doing good stuff. All the while, Terry McGinnis is a random 17-year-old that Powers convinced to go into the Batcave and steal a prototype Batsuit. So he's just running around in that Batsuit. He's not our main character. It's still Bruce Wayne. Okay. And all this kind of stuff. So that's the setup. And the second issue, Batman escapes from prison because he realizes I need to do something. And as he leaves in the first issue, he does that in the first issue.
Is most of the first issue just him going, I should do something. Should I do something? I should do something. Should I do something?
Tim's not in it.
No, I mean, is Bruce doing that the whole?
No. Bruce is basically going like, I haven't heard any about this. What the fuck's going on? And then he escapes from jail.
Oh, okay.
And I need to solve this. There's another Batman running around. I need to solve this. I need to do something. And as he leaves the jail, Jason Todd basically was like, all right, whatever, fuck it, dude. They have a heart-to-heart, and basically they go like, I failed you, no, I failed you, we failed each other, you're so good, son, all that kind of stuff. They do all that kind of stuff. As Bruce Wayne leaves the prison, he hears a voice, and he goes, Joker? And you turn the attention, and you see in a different panel, a man in a suit, slicked back purple hair, and he says, "Nah, Bruce. No, it's not Bats. It's me, Jack."
So they've, like, fused?
No, kind of. Because in the second book, it's revealed what it is. In the very first run, when GTO first took down Bruce Wayne and he was knocked out for a bit, Jack Napier implanted a thing in his brain that would basically was a backup of his brain AI thing, in case, like, just in case. So now there's an AI Jack Napier inside Bruce's head, and Bruce is having none of it.
Oh my god!
He's just like, "The fuck are you doing here?"
It's like Jor-El and Man of Steel.
Oh, it's and here's the thing. He's just going like, "No, dude, I want to help. I'm Jack. I'm not Joker. I'm Jack. I'm Jack. I want to help you, Bats." And he says, "I'm not Batman. I'm Bruce Wayne." And it's like that kind of, because Batman just keeps calling him Joker. So they're having that kind of like, we're not connecting as people kind of thing. Until eventually he runs into Dick Grayson, and Dick goes like, "Bruce, you got to go back to jail. You were going to be on parole in like a month. What are you doing?" And he's just like, "Shit's fucked. I got to fix it." He's like, "We're doing fine. Everything's better. Crime's gone and everything." And everybody just points out to Dick, suicides are up. Crime's not gone. Everybody's just afraid of you. We have no freedom. We are in a totalitarian martial state law. And you're the jackboot. We are in Judge Dredd, and you are Dredd. And Dick's having none of it. Dick doesn't want to believe any of it. And Jack goes like, "Hey, if you do this thing, you'll take out the suit." And he does it. And Jack goes like, "Hey, what'd I tell you? You can trust me." And he's like, "You gave me a tactical advantage. I don't trust you." As they're trying to do things, Bruce goes into a like safe house, Batcave, to like get some equipment and do all that kind of stuff. And then a person walks in. Harley Quinzel walks in and goes like, "Bruce, what are you doing? You told me to not visit you in prison for years." Because, like, they visited him at the beginning, and the Bruce was like, "I don't want to take any visitors." He turned everybody away. And she goes like, "Bruce, tell me what happened. I'm not just your best friend. I'm your wife."
Bruh.
And then Jack goes, "I did not see that coming." Like, not angry, just like, "That's a surprise."
Yeah, what the fuck?
Harley in this universe has a thing for guys in prison.
Apparently.
But it's also, they hinted at it a lot in Curse of the White Knight.
Okay.
It's not coming out of anywhere. Like, the last scene in Curse of the White Knight is basically Harley trying to rescue Bruce from going to prison. She's in the driver's seat and goes like, "All right, Bruce, we're going to get out of here." And Bruce goes like, "Harley, no, I need to go to jail." And she's like, "Fine." And she gets out, and they put hands against the mirrors, and then Harley does like a little heart in Bruce's hand. It's cute.
Okay. Interesting.
But they really do set up a relationship between them, and you can really see them, like, these two versions of Bruce and Harley being the thing.
Fair enough.
It's good. I liked it. I also read Ghost Cage.
What the fuck? What is this?
Indie book from Image. It's going to be a 3-issue thing. It's an abstraction of humanity's going through power sources. Like, it's literally like the thing with the giant eyeball has to go through and absorb the metaphorical energy of different power sources in this like giant tower. So he fights coal, and then he fights hydro, And then he fights Petroleum.
Okay.
And then he teams up with Wind. Because Wind is green. And Wind is also called Don Quixote. But also, the thing fighting is like, is a child, like, innocence who doesn't know anything. And the person who's helping him out is this woman down here with the big old glasses wearing this fucking suit. And she's like an IT tech person who's like ass-kissed her at her job. And the dude with white hair is the boss. And he goes like, yeah, no, you're just doing this as a suicide mission. That's why I gave you a gun. So when this is all over, you can just kill yourself. And that's the ultimate, like, you succeeded at your job. Because I don't fucking care about you. And it's just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, Jesus.
It's very weird. There's only 3 issues, so there's only 1 left. It
might be the most Boingo core thing you've introduced me to in a minute.
Oh yeah, and the person on the second one with the big fucking weird ballet high heel boots is the guy with white hair's daughter.
Oh.
There's a lot of things. It feels like it should have been 6 issues instead of 3, but they purposely wanted to do it 3 so you're confused and you're just in it, you know? Like, so just, like, being in it and all the lost details just, like, create this abstract idea of surreality that you're not quite sure what's going on. It's neat. It looks really cool. Art's good. Wait, hold on. I was saying names. Thor, Funeral for the Allfather. This is basically the funeral issue for Odin.
Hey.
They're holding ceremony and they do all the sad things. There's this really beautiful spread panel of Odin being led down the street and a bunch of people coming to see him off. And you see Iron Man and you see Captain America. You see the Avengers. And then you see, like, other gods. You see the Silver Surfers there. You see Jotuns from Jotunheim. And then in the background, you see Celestials. Like, you just see, like, a who's who of, like, Marvel characters and, like, a bunch of Asgardians. All paying their respects to Odin.
Where's Loki and all that?
Loki's right beside Odin. Like, right beside Thor this whole time.
Good boy.
Like, he is just, no, we're bros, we're doing this together, you're the king right now, so you need to do all the ceremony, but, like, we're bros. We're hearing this together. Because Thor goes, like, Odin was a complicated man. I rebelled against him a lot, and I didn't know what he was doing, but every time he punished me and sent me to Earth and told me to do these things, I came out of it a better man. All in the hopes that I would be a better king for you. Odin was an asshole, a piece of shit, a son of a bitch. But he also took in the child of his greatest enemy and raised him like his own. And you see Thor look at Loki, and Loki just gives like a smile. It's like, yeah, we're brothers, you know, that kind of like. And he goes like, Odin also saw the worthiness of people who had no Asgardian blood, as you see Beta Ray Bill. And basically Thor goes like, alright, so there's this book that only the people who are the Allfather can read, and it's just basically all the stories that are making up Asgard, you know? All that kind of stuff. And normally you're not supposed to hear it, but I feel like since it's this, I can tell you a couple stories. And then we get a little mini anthology of like fun Asgardian Thor-y stories featuring Odin or like something neat from a bunch of classic Thor writers. J. Michael Straczynski, Jason Aaron, Al Ewing, Dan Jurgens.
Nice.
So they just get like to do a little short story for this like fun issue.
This is Simonson on this?
Let's see. Almighty Odin from Those Who Knew Him Best. Jason Aaron, Lee Garber, Walter Simonson, yeah.
Hey!
Walter Simonson's here. But it's just like all that kind of stuff. So the first one is showing what's worthiness. So it's kind of like a recap origin of Beta Ray Bill, of how he became Beta Ray Bill on his planet. showing what it means to be worthy, that kind of thing. The second one is a story featuring Thor, and he's going mad with certain power element tool stuff. And Odin goes like, "Hey, you need to take that shit off." And Thor goes like, "No, I'm strong." And Odin goes like, "Baldur, go fucking fight him so he can take the shit off." "All right, Dad." And then they fight, and then Thor realizes, "Oh shit, Dad was right. Let me throw the shit away." You know, just like an old school Thor story, you know?
Yeah.
The other one is a Loki themed story where Loki, back during like when he, like a previous version of Loki's traveling through time and doing all that kind of stuff to just learn, is going through time. He goes back to one point, he goes back to another. He goes to the future and sees Loki sitting in the funeral for Odin, and he goes like, "Did you do this? If you did this, you'd be cackling. What are you? No, this isn't how it's supposed to be." Basically, kind of like, you should have been the one to do it, but what? Like, just kind of like, why are you sad? That kind of stuff. And then Loki, in the middle of it, turns into Lady Loki and goes like, "I understand now. This is our future, and we grow as people. So let me go back to the past and do all that kind of stuff." And just basically go like, Loki's ever changing, but they are informed by their relationship with Odin. And then there's the last story is Thor solidifying his will in both Midgard and Asgardian terms. So because he's coming to terms with the idea of death because of his father. And he wants to set up things so the future is secure. And then all of this ends. They're about to do the Viking funeral for Odin. He's being sent off into space, and Thor raises the arrow, and he can't do it. He's just too overcome with sadness, and he says, "Loki, can you please do it?" And Loki goes like, "But you're the king of Asgard." And he just looks into Thor's face and goes like, "You are not emotionally ready to do this." So he knocks the arrow and goes like, "Oh, of course you would tell me to do this. He's so far out, only the best of the archers can do this." Trying to let Thor save face. Lets loose the arrow. Odin's body burns. As Thor goes back to his chambers and hears Odin, the spirit of Odin, talk to him through the hammer. Because remember, that happened. Odin's now in the hammer.
Mm. The hammer is the matrix of leadership.
Yeah. And basically, Thor is yelling at Odin, and the hammer goes like, "Why are you talking to me? Fuck off. I'm not emotionally ready for this. Why aren't you in Valhalla?" And Odin just goes like, "Well, kid, I'm not in Valhalla, because when I went there, the doors were busted open and no one was there." Dun dun dun. End of the story.
And this somehow is leading towards Thanos with the Infinity Gems in the hammer.
Who knows? We'll figure it out soon. And then Rogues. Tell me about Rogues.
Yeah, Rogues was pretty okay because it's just another issue of this series. If you're digging this series, you're gonna dig this. This is essentially them getting to Gorilla City. A lot of traveling through the jungle and having little character moments here and there. A lot of fun teasing back and forth between the Snart siblings, and just getting to know these characters before shit hits the fan. And then we get to see what future Gorilla City looks like, and it looks pretty neat, pretty spiffy, pretty fucking crazy. And then we get to see Gorilla Grodd as essentially Maroni, or was it Falcone? Whoever the mobster from the Batman. It's essentially what if Gorilla Grodd was that character. And Detective Chimp is also there, and they establish that him and Grodd are old friends, even though Grodd's on the wrong side of the law. And he basically says, like, I'm not going to let you do this much longer. Sooner or later, the heroes are going to come here. There are no heroes left. You may think that.
Oh.
And then, as the rogues are kind of getting acquainted with the lower levels of Gorilla City and integrating themselves into society, which isn't hard because there's a fuck ton of human slaves in Gorilla City, apparently. The issue ends with Snark giving everyone orders and then going off to do his task, and he goes into this alley and has a bit of a panic attack based on like how difficult the mission's getting, and then he snaps out of it and turns around, and there's Detective Chimp holding him up against a wall. What the fuck are you doing here, Cold?
Oof.
And that's how we end the issue.
You got your heroes, good. Chimp.
Yeah.
Sabretooth number 3.
How was that? How did you like that?
We get to explore some of the characters that aren't Sabretooth some. See why exactly they're in there. Sabretooth goes like, hey, if we do this thing, we can kind of see the outside world and we can talk to people. We need to do this so we can start getting an evil team so we can burn this place to the ground. And everybody goes like, and every one of them goes like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. We're just going to go talk to our friends so we can stop you, asshole. As we learn more about Melter kind of thing and like why is he in here, it's not just because he destroyed some land, it's because he also wanted to help, and he wanted to help out the Quiet Council, so he snuck into the Quiet Council room, and Professor Xavier found him, and he's like, yo, you're not really supposed to be doing this, bud. And he's like, yeah, but I want to help. And it's like, seems like they're leading you to believe that this might actually be like he's a mole, like he's there to do something and not just here to be punished, which would be neat. Oh yeah, good book.
Yeah,
but that's it. We're tired. We've been going for 3 hours. Hey,
I feel like I say that every week now. Oh my god, we went so long, but we did it.
Okay, tell the people where they can find you.
Hey everybody, I'm the Vacuuminator. I make videos and things on the internet, primarily on YouTube, but I haven't made a YouTube video in a little while, which is why I have my new Patreon exclusive solo podcast delving into the behind the scenes and the bullshit of my life that we don't normally get into on this channel. So first episode right now is up for free, but all future episodes are going to be for $1 plus patrons. So go listen to that first episode, see if you like it, and then maybe pledge, please and thank you. And in the meantime, you can keep up with me on Twitter at the Vacuuminator.
Alrighty. Hey, howdy. I'm Boingo Writer. I do a variety of content on the internet. Hey, do you want YouTube videos? Search for Boingo Writer on YouTube. You'll find me. You want Twitch streams? Go to twitch.tv/Boingo Writer. Do you want me on other social media platforms? Fucking at Boingo_Writer. Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. This has been Modular Media's No Pride Podcast, where we talk about Marvel Comics, movies, merchandise, and more. We also have other podcasts, including Components, where we just bullshit. And Twit, where tell them about Twit.
Oh, we talk about Tokusatsu there.
And we also have No More Games, where me and Buster talk about game news and announcements and things. Like, comment, subscribe, Modular Media. We're tired. We've been going for 3 hours. Hey, just imagine trying to do a 7-hour stream like I did the other day.
Yeah, I don't know why you did that.
I wanted to stay up till midnight, and then I wanted to finish the mission we were on.
Ah.
So, you have anything else to say?
If you haven't already, go get yourself a copy of this. Green Lantern, Green Arrow by Dennis O'Neil and Neil Adams. Normalize going back and checking out seminal shit because it's cool.
Enough said.